Confident in him. I'm very confident in him, and we'll be on the same page. We got our timing in the off season, so I feel great about the timing part of that. But I feel like he's a great quarterback. He's very calm in the pocket, and he's going to be great for us Saturday.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
Shared Arkansas wide receiver Ketron Jackson talking about Cade Forden and possibility of what he could do on Saturday. We got plenty of football to discuss this morning, but it is a What's Your Beef Wednesday. And I want to start this morning with the annoyance I have with Walmart. They have reshuffled their stores, and I was talking to an employee that they do this every couple years. It's a corporate thing. It's driving me nuts. I'm walking around in my different aisles, and I'm so used. I don't shop for groceries at Walmart, just the toiletries and various things I need around the house. And I'm always going to the spots where I know everything has been for the last few years, and it's no longer there. And I hate having to ask an employee where something is because I feel stupid. But when I walk around for 5 minutes and I can't find it, it drives me nuts. So that's my beef this morning.
Where you're beefing?
And hopefully we'll get into some others as well at 877-377-6963.
It is frustrating. Sam's does that a lot, too. They'll move stuff around. They'll change the direction of the aisles every few years in that store. Just drives me crazy. What's Your Beef Wednesday off and running, brought to you by Farm Credit. If you have a loan with a variable or balloon interest rate, that's a little scary right now, knowing interest rates continue to climb. Interest rates will climb some more. That's why you need to talk to Farm Credit about a long-term fixed rate for the life of your loan. Farm Credit's long-term fixed rates offer peace of mind in changing economic times. They're offering the longest terms in the ag industry. Talk to Farm Credit today. Find an office near you at myaglender.com. That's myaglender.com. Farm Credit is an equal housing lender.
Plenty of football to get to, but again, I want to hear your beefs this morning. What is your beef early on?
I just don't understand when we go to football games, all of us together, and this is why sometimes it gets frustrating. I think not just for me, but I think a lot of us, just the stupidity that comes 2 or 3 rows behind you sometimes. Just the like, sir, have you ever seen a football game before? The questioning of the coach constantly, the play calling, every play there's holding. But it's not just bitching about the officiating. Everybody does that. I understand that's a fan thing to do. I get that. It's complaining about, the thing I really loved is the guy that's about 3 rows behind us this week had a complete essay up in the stands for everybody about KJ's footwork and what was wrong with it. Stuff like I don't know if that's the beer talking or if someone really sitting in row 28, section 502 really thinks they're that smart from that far away. That's the kind of stuff that just drives me nuts when I go to foot. I go to enjoy it, watch it. This Saturday, be with my wife and some friends at the game, and you've always got these morons around you that think they know more than the guys getting paid 2 comma incomes to figure it out.
I understand where you're coming from. I don't have that issue because I'm so hyper focused on the game. I don't hear what's around me.
Well, I guess I'm not as hyper focused.
I don't know what the deal is, but when I go to a football
clearly
game,
they're hyper focused because this dude was picking up on KJ's footwork. Everything. So, he was more focused than you, maybe.
When I go to games, it's just one of those
things. And
he
doesn't know what he's talking about at all.
And I tune it out. I don't know what that is. So that doesn't.
And don't even get me started on the officiating side of it. But and all the I love just the guys behind me just knew on that flag that came down near the goal line the other night or the other afternoon.
Ended up being an offensive pass.
They were ready to come out there. These guys are cheating. Saban called that. And I kind of had a pretty good idea what was coming, and I just kind of grinned. Pass interference, offense, and they're like, oh.
It's a pick play. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie May's beef this morning is all the Fairweather fans that, as you just talked about, feel like they know more than Sam Pittman.
It just ruins the enjoyment.
And Barry Odom. Well, I think what I would say to this, sports radio wouldn't exist if you couldn't question coaches, players, or have opinion on what's going on during the course of the game. But I think to your point, it's when you're questioning every single play. That's what's frustrating, and that's what's irritating.
Question a little on the defense. I can get with some of that. But anyway.
I thought you were going to elaborate on that.
If you just want to question, I mean, I could understand Saturday. If you want to question a little bit about the defense, I could get with some of that idea.
Shane and Alma, this is actually something that I've seen a lot of Arkansas fans angry about. Did you see Alabama's score post following the
poster?
win? Yeah,
that was tasteless and classless, and I bet Saban didn't know about that. Or I'm surprised that hadn't been jerked down yet.
Yeah, I think it's still, the last time I checked, it was still up for. So for those that are wondering what we're talking about, and good text, Shane, you know how when you win or lose for that matter, the social media account's supposed to score the game. Well, Alabama, for some reason, and I tend to agree with you, if Nick Saban saw this, he would be irate. They posted the picture of KJ on the ground. Looks lifeless, to be honest, and the Alabama defensive lineman is up, and he didn't know he injured KJ. I'm not faulting him, but he's excited as his teammates are, and KJ's literally just on the ground and not moving at all. And I think a lot of Arkansas fans, because we don't know what the severity of KJ's deal is heading into this week, we're a little frustrated. And I get when you're excited, you make a play. And again, I'm not faulting the Alabama defensive lineman, but when KJ goes out of the game, you probably shouldn't put that as a social media poster if you're handling marketing and the SID portion for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
I mean, you don't celebrate injuries. You don't celebrate injuring an opponent because karma is evil and comes back to haunt you. And it was a game where, from a fan standpoint, if you were neutral, didn't care, and watched, tuned in, both starting quarterbacks go out, that's a bummer. Particularly, if you're neutral, you probably tuned in to see a lot of Bryce Young in that game and got to see a quarter of him, just barely more than a quarter. So, you don't ever root for injuries because that has a way of biting you in the backside down the road.
I think that...
And that kind of felt like rooting for injury or celebrating injury, at least with the way they display it. Alabama, you can hate them and be mad about all the winning. They're generally not what you would call classless as a program.
No.
Maybe their fans can be classless, but Saban runs a pretty classy organization. That surprised me that would, I don't say get by him, because I don't think he looks at every one of those things, but boy, I bet he finds out about that. Someone's going to get the tail chewed.
And that would be the equivalent if Arkansas had won that game on Saturday. And if you remember the picture, Bryce Young walking over the sideline, kind of pointing at his right shoulder, if Arkansas had posted that picture, it would have gotten eaten alive by the national media and everything like that, because, as you just said, you don't root for injuries. I don't think Arkansas fans, you had a better chance to win the football game on Saturday when Bryce Young went out, but Drew Sanders didn't try to injure his former teammate. He's just trying to make a play, make a tackle, and it just ended up landing, and he had the sprained AC joint is what Nick Saban was talking about this week. So, yeah, I think a lot of Arkansas fans were irritated to see that. And, yeah, Shane, nothing dirty about either football play. Both defensive guys were just trying to make a play. You can tell the difference between a malicious hit and then a general football play. Both of those were just football plays. Quarterbacks just got injured on both occasions.
Well, I mean, Bryce's was just fluky because, Sanders tripped him up, got him by the ankle, and just messed up his stride there, and he goes down. When he was trying to break his fall. It didn't have. When you think about a quarterback here, the quarterback got a shoulder injury. You think about a linebacker coming through, hitting him, and you end up on your flat on your back, and a quarterback landed on your shoulder. That it wasn't that kind of play at all. It was just for a shoulder injury in a game for a quarterback. It was more on the fluky scale the way that ended up happening. Hey, we're brought to you by the Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence, gate, or even repairing your existing fences or gates. Maybe you got some automatic gates at work or at home and they're not working right. You don't know who to call. You call the Fence Man, 782-3936. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing as well. Anything involving a fence or a gate, it's the Fence Man. 782-3936. We're going behind enemy lines this week in Starkville, Mississippi. Our coverage presented by Mock Legal Solutions, a law firm offering reasonably priced legal services and, in most cases, no hourly billing. Know exactly what you'll pay and never be charged for emails, text, and calls. That's Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price. Live in Starkville later this week.
ESPN
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch.
Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. Bet online, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and when they don't, reach out to the Tulsa Wound Center. They provide chronic wound care using all the latest technologies such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, shockwave therapy, skin substitutes, and more. When it comes to life and limb, experience matters. Make sure you are being seen and treated by an experienced and certified wound physician. Founder and medical director Dr. Lam Lee has been a prominent wound care and hyperbaric physician for over 15 years. 10,000 patients can't be wrong. Online at TulsaWoundCenter.com or call 918-561-6661.
Searching for the best UTV on the market but can't find it with any of the big name brands? That's where the Intimidator comes in. An American brand using American-made steel and built in Arkansas. Intimidator UTVs offer premium components as standard, unlike those other companies. Items such as doors, skid plates, heavy-duty frames, and comfortable seating, all at one comparable price. See why Intimidator UTVs are the best choice by visiting your local dealer, Horns Outdoor in Hot Springs, or visit hornsoutdoor.net.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561. Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
No House Advantage is changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. Play in pick'em contests versus other people for a shot at winning $150,000 plus in cash. Download the app, choose a contest, select your player props, earn points for the correct picks, and climb the leaderboard for your shot to win big money every day. You can also test your skills versus the house and 20 times your entry if you hit all your picks. Bet on up to 5 player props, over-unders, or individual player matchups across every major sports league, including the NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, MMA, and NASCAR. Sign up now with your promo code HTL. That's promo code HTL. at nohouseadvantage.com or download the app on the app stores to get a first deposit match of up to $25. Make sure to check out No House Advantage today and experience daily fantasy sports redefined, because it's not just how you play, but where you play. You won't want to miss out on this. nohouseadvantage.com, promo code HTL.
Wheeler Power Sports is stoked to bring the Kawasaki Good Times Demo Tour on October 7th and October 8th. Bike availability subject to change. Motorcycle license required for test drivers. See WheelerPowersports.com for more details.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
First down, KJ's going to dump a little screen left side. Jackson, a lot of room. Inside the 20, down the sidelines. He's going to score. Touchdown, Arkansas. Ketron Jackson.
Streaming live at hitthatline.com.
So LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels had a players-only meeting on Monday with the quarterbacks and wide receivers, and they didn't have the best offensive game against Auburn this past Saturday. Did get the win, but I want to talk about that in relation to Arkansas coming up in just a sec.
Hey, we're brought to you by our friends at Pradco Fishing, made right here in Arkansas. And whether you're headed to Beaver Lake or Table Rock or fishing for a trophy brown on the White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will help you catch more fish. It's got that famous rolling action that's been around for over 100 years. You can work it extremely slow, or you can work it in a heavy current. The Rogue is designed to suspend and stay in the strike zone longer, so you'll catch that big fish you've been after. Find it at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and your favorite tackle stores all over the place. Just look or ask for the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
You know, the basketball team for Arkansas had one of these a year ago, or maybe it's 2 years ago. I think it was last year, but sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. With Arkansas potentially having a different quarterback in there, could you see a scenario like that happening where there's a meeting, players only, between kind of the quarterbacks and wide receivers?
Oh, I don't have any idea. I mean, I don't think that's required because you maybe have a change of leadership because of injury. Generally, players-only meetings occur when things aren't going well, when you're not living up to the expectations, or you feel like or there's a perception that maybe maximum effort's not being given, or there's a divide amongst the team. It's usually trying to heal something or smooth something over that the players got to get on the same page about. So, I mean, changes come, next man up happens. I don't think that Arkansas is really in that category. I think LSU wanted to kind of get everybody on the same page offensively because they look pretty anemic against an Auburn team they should have crushed.
0-2 in your last two games, and I know they've been really tough places and tough atmospheres in terms of just what the expectations were for this football team in Jerry World and in Razorback Stadium. Do you think if Arkansas, Tommy, if KJ Jefferson can't go, do you think the offense is fully behind Cade Forden, or do you think there's possibly some divide on who should be starting in that locker room?
Well, I couldn't answer that since we're not in the locker room, but in football, injuries are part of it. It's happened from the time you played in the boys' club all the way up to where you're at now. Someone gets injured, someone else has to come play. I would think if you're a wide receiver and KJ's not going to be out there, and I think the team believes in KJ clearly, and have for some time now. You want the quarterback in there that gives you the best chance to catch footballs and have catchable balls thrown your way. So I think Chuck said it best earlier, and the coaches have said this. As long as I've been around football, the players choose the starters. The players particularly pick quarterbacks because they raise their level of play. You see it. You see it in the preseason if you're allowed to watch scrimmages, and in past regimes as a head coach, we've watched more practices and more Saturday scrimmages. You could see the level of play at times change based on who the quarterback was at that moment. You just have more confidence in certain people to lead you. So I think that's pretty obvious based on body language and the way they play to the coach's eyes, at least.
JT in Hot Springs text in. He says, while not agreeing with the offense, but he could see the defense having one of those come-to-Jesus meetings about the coverage and tackling. Is that more of a possible scenario? And by the way, Damian brings up a good point. According to multiple reports, Hudson Clark was actually practicing at safety, and they had Sam Mbake, who is a wide receiver out of Georgia, a true freshman, playing a little corner.
Well,
so
that was in the fast starts and the part of practice the media watched yesterday. So it wasn't, that ain't like someone's whispered that to you in the alley behind the parking garage. That's stuff that a lot of people saw that in the limited amount of practice you get to see. Hey, I think the defense, everything's on the table right now. Listen, it sounds like a players only meeting. That's not going to just fix your problems just because you have a players only meeting. The defense has problems, and a lot of it's rooted in the fact that you've had season-ending injuries to some of your best players. You've had nagging, ongoing. Seems like every week one or two key players aren't available. Now, listen, somebody's got to step in and make plays, and you saw a few plays that were pointed out pretty clearly on the national TV broadcast last week where Bumper Pool missed on the play, but Alabama has a way of making even your best players look out of place or missing assignments. So see what happens this week. Usually great competitors, and I think Arkansas has a lot of them, and players like Bumper Pool, after a performance that doesn't meet expectations, it's amazing how they double down and come out and play a lot better in the following week. So I would, I'd expect to see a raised level of performance this week.
We saw Missouri play their worst game of the season 2 weeks ago against Auburn, and they followed it up with their best performance of the season, the close loss against Georgia. I would hope the defense, as you just said, who not a lot of people expect anything out of this week going on the road, facing Will Rogers, but the same was said about KJ Costello 2 years ago, and you picked him off 2 or 3 times, and defense ended up really winning you that ball game, and you really shut Will Rogers out the first half of last season. In the second half, he got the better of you for the most part, but you'd love to see that defense stand tall against Mississippi State and Mike Leach at 11 o'clock on Saturday.
Georgia's a good example of a team that's won but kind of been lackluster against lesser opponents. You mentioned Missouri. They played their best against the number 1 team in the country at the time. Kent State the week before. Georgia's kind of just muddled around. Is this a week where they've been questioned, challenged, downgraded in the polls that, maybe against a rival in Auburn, they show out and show up big and show out in that game? Wouldn't surprise me at all. And I think that's another example of a team that, while they're winning and we all think they're really, really good, haven't met expectations.
Les messaging us on Facebook that we need the running game to slow down the Mississippi State offense, and that's their best chance to kind of prevent the wild air raid. And he thinks Ford has the best chance to keep pace with them as well. That's going to be a key point, keeping Will Rogers and that offense off the field, and a running game that had its best performance of the season last weekend against Texas A&M.
Hey, attention sports fans, your favorite sports book, BetUS.com, back to help you through another year of the NFL, college football, postseason baseball is here right now. Sign up right now, get a 200% sign-up bonus when you use the code ESPN Arkansas. You can get action on all your favorite stuff, plus table games, European slots, and more. Call 800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US. Again, use the code ESPN Arkansas for up to a 200% in sign-up bonuses on your very first deposit. Nobody beats that. Head to BetUS.com and join today. That's BetUS, where the game begins.
When we come back, Chuck's going to join us. We'll get into his conversation with DJ Williams on the latest, the Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast.
ESPN Arkansas's coverage behind enemy lines in Starkville, Mississippi is presented by Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price. A law firm offering reasonably priced legal services to our hometown community.
No matter which road you take, the Toyota Tundra is the perfect way to navigate it. On your path, you're your own boss and set your own hours.
Look at that sunrise.
You may find yourself in some pretty remote places.
Whoa, that view. Amazing.
Or in places where pastimes become stories that become legends.
I got one. It's a keeper. Hey, get a picture. No one's going to believe this.
And each day ends binge watching stars and dreaming about all the things you'll do the next day.
You know what? I'm catching a bigger fish tomorrow.
Built to follow your path, the Toyota Tundra. Build yours today. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com for your ready-for-anything Toyota Tundra. The aggressively styled rugged Tundra is ready to be loaded up, and you can head off to wherever your path leads. Toyota. Let's go places. See packages and options at Toyota.com for feature availability.
Cooler weather is on the way. Is your heating system ready? Let Ashley Air get your home ready with their $69 fall tune-up special. Ashley Air's trained technicians will check your system and make certain it's heating your home efficiently. It's just part of Ashley Air's 100% satisfaction guarantee. On game day, call the Hogs. When your heat needs repaired, call Ashley Air. Get your $69 fall tune-up now. Just go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your tune-up. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
For a dependable, fuel-efficient tractor from a company committed to the future, choose a Branson tractor. Each of our tractors is backed by a 6-year limited warranty with models available ranging in horsepower from 22 to 58. You are sure to find the tractor that is right for you. Make sure you call or stop in today at the new location for Bush Tractor at 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Again, that is 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Or you can check them out online at bushtractor.com.
At Frank Rowe Furniture, we want you to get this month started off right. So not only do we have no sales tax, but we are marking down every piece of furniture, bedroom furniture, mattresses, and dining sets in the store to unbelievable prices. That's right, marking all furniture down and no sales tax. In-store, no credit check financing, family owned and service after the sale. All American made sofas, love seats, sectionals, and recliners at Frank Rowe Furniture. Best seats in the house.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Why do people do business with First Western? Because First Western builds relationships with all of their customers. They partner for the long haul to help you with your financial goals over all seasons of life. First Western is prompt, responsive, and they deliver with quick answers and on-time loan closings. When is the last time your banker called you? If you are looking for a high level of service and a financial partner who will listen and respond, try First Western. For more information, visit them online at firstwestern.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance, and Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren, 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
You know, fall in the natural state really is the best. Football, fantastic weather, and some of the country's most beautiful scenery. At Rath Auto Resources, we love fall because prices are falling on all of our Rath road-ready vehicles, making this the time to save on your nicer, newer car. And it's so easy. Just call, click, or come by. Let one of our friendly, non-commissioned solution specialists do all the work. It's their job to help you find just the right car, get you extra for your trade, take care of all the financing, and make sure you leave in a car of your dreams at a price and payment that fits your budget. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center. Philip and his team know how to take care of your car. More importantly, they know how to take care of you with convenient, affordable total car care and savings like half off brakes and buy 3 get 1 free on all tires. Why wait? Start enjoying your fall now in a nicer, newer car from Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
I'm going to tell you the truth about Starkville. Everybody
complains about it. Skip Burtman used to say it's an old Indian word for trailer park, and they've taken a lot of heat over the years. They're really nice people.
Hi, back here in the Morning Rush. We're going to welcome in Chuck in just a sec. Had a really pleasant conversation with former Mackey Award winner and Arkansas tight end DJ Williams on the latest, the Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast, and we'll tell you about that in just a sec.
Hey, does your business's website need a major upgrade? Maybe it needs a players-only meeting for your website to get it looking right. We've got a solution for you. The folks at Matchstick Studios can create you a custom, awesome-looking website to feature your product or service and help you be found online. That's how you get new customers a lot of times. They'll Google you or Google for your service or your type of business. Does your site come up? And if it does it make the right first impression on a new customer? For $95 a month and no upfront cost, the professionals at Matchstick Studios can design, do all the copywriting, create a great-looking website that's unique to your business. Call 479-755-3043. That's 755-3043, or go to modularorange.com for examples and features. That's 755-3043 or modularorange.com.
Morning, Chuck.
Morning, guys. How's it going?
Man, it's a good old What's Your Beef Wednesday. Now, before we get in your talk with DJ a little bit, is anything ticking you off this morning?
Nothing's ticking me off.
That's
but
always,
thanks for asking.
That's always good to hear.
But it's early. So.
Plenty of...
Yeah, we're just getting started, Ty. Check back with me in about an hour.
Yeah.
You got it, man. All right, well, I thought, so you brought this up this week. Tommy has as well, and I know just based on watching the games, I'm excited first time in Starkville. It's not easy to win there, and I thought when you were talking with DJ about that, he had a pretty interesting point.
One, obviously going through your pregame routine, understanding that 100 yards is 100 yards, preparation as far as crowd noise, making sure all that's hashed out. But I would say the biggest part is understanding there's always going to be a momentum, and it's going to happen, whether it's if we fumble on offense or they have a big play on defense or a kickoff return, there's always going to be something that where average teams can't necessarily bounce back from it, but good teams figure out a way to kind of bear down the hatches and just hold on play after play, and eventually you'll get back to a spot to where you can be in that football game.
Guys, I thought DJ pulled out his Norman Dale there. 100 yards, 94 feet, 94 feet. He's talking about just the length of the football field.
Yeah, that's what you've got to do wherever you play. I think some of that is, players get out there on the field, and I don't think they think about, what the environment's going to be like as much as we think. When they go out there before the game and you see them walking the field and things like that, they're obviously refamiliarizing themselves with a football field. But, that was a great ball game, and DJ played great, and Arkansas got a big win.
The thing I always have to remind myself is you can't let the game get away from you, but if you're within striking distance, this is a fourth-quarter team because of the lines of scrimmage. You wear down opponents, and that's where Arkansas can do some catching up if they are behind. We've seen a couple of examples where Arkansas has really dominated the fourth quarter. They haven't been a very good third-quarter team, Chuck, but this team, once the line of scrimmage imposes its will, and it didn't happen last week necessarily, this is a team that can make some hay in the fourth quarter a lot of times.
Can be. They played well in the third quarter this past week, and they need to keep playing well in the third quarter regardless of, what happens in the other parts of the ball game. That's, when you don't play well in an entire quarter, unless you're Alabama, like this past Saturday, it's hard to win. Arkansas is not the type team that's going to be able to do that. They can, they can run the ball, and I think that this Saturday, controlling the tempo from an offensive perspective is going to be important. I think that's how you help your defense. I think all those things tie together. And so Arkansas's best defense Saturday may be a good offense. And sometimes it's the other way around. But and by that I mean I'm not saying you got to score 40 or 45 points, but you need to dictate the tempo of the game.
Yeah. You talk about the Arkansas's defense. Leach is such a unique matchup, and I've heard it described this way, and you tell me if this is right. He really runs about a handful of plays, 5 or 6, 7 plays. He keeps it all on kind of an index card, but they give you so many different looks. They try to be confusing, but a lot of times when a coach goes back and looks at it, it's a lot of the same actual plays, just packaged different ways.
Well, one thing I think people need to understand when we talk about plays, the way the play, even perhaps where the ball goes, once the ball is snapped may not necessarily be the play that the coach called. And by what I mean by that is every time you snap the ball, every time you break the huddle, you've got 2 or 3 different reads to make. If you're a running back, if you're a wide receiver, DJ talked about this in our conversation. Frankly, I thought it was the best part of the conversation. He talked about how, receivers have pre-snap reads and other players have pre-snap reads. And so, just because you see a play unfold a certain way, and just because Leach may only have, as some say, and I don't know if this is true or not, a handful of different plays, there may be 3 or 4 different options on a specific play. So he leaves a lot to the quarterback to read. He leaves a lot to the receivers to read. But, in terms of their basic sets, I've not analyzed it like a coach, but I'm sure that the window dressing and the eye candy and all the things that they show you, kind of like what we do, has a lot to do with their success.
They could just look at the index card that you talk about relative to the Waffle House menu that Chad Morris used to have.
But that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, one might look a little bit better than the other, but you've still got to make those pre-snap reads if you're a player. And I think sometimes we get caught up in believing that the way that a play unfolded is the way that it was necessarily called. A lot of times it's the result of a read made by a quarterback or one of the other guys too.
And to your point, how many times did Riggs or even early in the game Young find a gap? The offensive line for Alabama does their blocking. They'd cut back and find a lane and redirect, and we saw that particularly with Riggs multiple times throughout that game on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama's good. I mean, you look at some of those plays, those stretch plays there in the fourth quarter. Don't watch the runner. Look at the way the line just enveloped Arkansas. And, that's just what they do, and that's what good offensive lines do. That's what they did in the fourth quarter. And, Arkansas, as you said a minute ago, they've been a pretty good fourth-quarter team by and large. Weren't so much Saturday, but by and large they have been. And a lot of times when you see a team break the other team's back in the fourth quarter, it's on plays like that where, a guy gets into the second level and all of a sudden there's nobody there. And that's kind of what happened Saturday.
I think Arkansas exerted so much energy in the third quarter. They were kind of gassed at this point in the fourth. To your point, Tommy, I think it's very key if Arkansas can get off to a fast start and have that. And, Chuck, you addressed it, getting that third quarter bounce, too. So in the fourth quarter, you kind of break the will of Mississippi State, which they've been able to do to a certain extent the last 2 years, even though State was able to come back and almost tied at the end of last year's game.
Well, you're going to have a unusually good defensive performance. I was looking at the note package that came out Monday, and no secret Arkansas is struggling defensively. I mean, it's time for Arkansas to figure some things out. They've been short some players, but 8 key defensive categories. Arkansas is ranked 10th or worse in the SEC. They're still number 1 in sacks, number 3 in tackles for loss, but you look at the other ones, and it tells the story pretty clearly what's going on the defensive side of the ball for this team, Chuck.
Man, I mean, Alabama will skew your stats. They weren't all that great before that, for sure. And that's why I say there are some times, and I think, frankly, this week may be one of them, where your best defense is a good offense because they can control things if you're doing what you want to do on offense. And, it's a team game. You got to help the other side out. And, like, for example, I'll go back to the Alabama ball game after the pick by McLaughlin. Even though they didn't score, they got out to a position where they could punt Alabama back to their end of the field. You got to make good teams go the long way. You go back to the A&M game. The one thing that was good, it's an overlooked thing in special teams sometimes, is where does the other side start? A&M never started in plus territory. A&M never started in plus territory. It was a while Saturday before Arkansas snapped the ball in plus territory. So, those things are important, and I think if you're going to be good defensively, the other things tie into it. You've got to be good on special teams. You've got to win the battle of field position. You've got to control the tempo offensively. That means you've got to be able to run the football behind a big offensive line. You can't leave your defense out there on an island by themselves and say you win or lose us the ball game. I mean, it's a team game. And I would imagine that their game plan for Saturday will reflect that.
Yeah. Mississippi State's won 3 of the last 5, but Arkansas's won the last 2 against ranked Mississippi State teams, and both games have been basically touchdown games, Chuck. 31-28, 21-14 the last 2 meetings. Should we expect much different this go around?
I expect a shootout, frankly. I think you're going to have to score points to win. I think the idea that you're going to go down there and shut them down, I don't know that you're going to do that. Although I will say 2 years ago, the conversation about how Arkansas was going to get lit up was a lot stronger even than it is now. And they went down there and they held them to 14 points and they won the ball game. The only time I can remember being down there where, Mississippi State was really better was when Dak was there and they were ranked number 1.
You still held them to 17 points that game, which is wild about that.
Yeah, I mean that's the only time that I look back and I thought going in, hey, they're better than us. And, we went through a period there where pretty much everybody was. But most of the time when we've gone down there, it's been very competitive.
And that was a 17-10 ball game, and Arkansas had a chance. I remember B.A. threw an interception on the back left side of the end zone. That was a really good ball game. That was the worst probably that Mississippi State offense had looked all season long when they were, as you said, number 1 in the country. I look at this game. You're talking about special teams, Chuck. Arkansas right now is 129th out of 131 teams in punt return coverage, and then also 127th in the country out of kickoff return coverage. And while Bama started a lot of times in plus territory, McKinstry was all over the place. And I don't know who A&M's special teams, kick returners and punt returners are, but that's going to be an element of this game that you can't allow. It's been kind of a weakness to this point.
Well, I mean, the first thing, again, you can look at all the numbers. The numbers, the numbers tell you how it's gone through the first 5 games. May or may not go that way on Saturday. I mean, you're right. The numbers aren't good. I don't really know what to say to that other than they got to get better.
Yeah. You got the coaches show tonight. Coach is going to talk to the media today. I don't know how much more we're going to learn about KJ, but that's clearly the conversation everyone's having around the state is, will KJ play on Saturday?
Yeah, and everywhere you go, that's what people are asking. And people want an answer today. And I get that. They want an answer today. And there's not going to be one today because this is, some injuries, they call them day-to-day. And, a lot of times they already know. But in a situation like this, I mean, if there was ever an injury that's day-to-day, I mean, when you take a blow to the head, that's, that's certainly something that qualifies. So we may not know till Saturday. I mean, we may not. So, but yeah, that's what everybody's going to be talking about.
Chuck, Tommy made a point yesterday, and I think some people agree, some people disagree. Is KJ the one guy that Coach talked about that kind of need to practice Wednesday to play on Saturday? Is he the one guy that if he's good to go on Thursday or Friday, he's going to play on Saturday, you think?
Well, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. And look, coaches say that all the time. There are exceptions to that rule in college football every week. There'll be somebody play Saturday somewhere that didn't practice on Wednesday. And I know that people have, certain tenets that they follow, but not much of anything's hard and fast when you get right down to it. Yeah. So, if he can, if he doesn't do anything at all this week, although, from the reports that I read, he's at least been out there. I mean, if he doesn't do anything at all. Yeah.
Sometimes just watching's enough.
Right. Yeah. I hear coaches all the time say if you don't practice on Wednesday, not planning on playing you on Friday or a Saturday. But every single one of them has broken that rule at some point in their career. I mean, that's just how it works.
Depends on what your stats say.
It depends on the player. Let's just be honest. It depends on the player.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, the new podcast is available. You can download and listen right now. HitThatLine.com or wherever you get the podcast. Good conversation between Chuck and DJ Williams, and you can get that this morning in the newest edition of the Give Me the Hogs Chuck podcast, Chuck.
And it's brought to you by Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. And, when I talk about them, I want you to understand I talk about it from personal experience. I'm not reading copy. There's not a single note in front of me right now. Maybe there should be, but there's not. Because I'm talking about personal experience. I'm talking about what I experienced with Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. They were my partner in buying a home. They were my partner in selling a home. And the thing that I liked was they were professional about what they did. They were knowledgeable. When you get into a real estate transaction, everybody loves to wheel and deal. But the bottom line is you need someone that's knowledgeable really about the process, and that's what I found at Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. I think that's going to be your experience too. Trained professionals, people that understand how to get you from contract to close. They've got an office in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale and Bentonville. They've got an office in Fort Smith. They just opened one up in Branson, Missouri. You see the yellow signs all over town. It's because they're working. It's because they're out there doing their job, and I think that's going to be your experience. You can log on to WeichertGriffin.com.
One of the topics I wanted to get into this morning was A&M and Alabama. Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban. That conversation has died a little bit since the summer. It's heated back up since they're playing this week. That's what Dixie wanted to talk about this morning. Go ahead, Dixie.
Yeah, well, I love a good soap opera, so I'm all about that. I sit at home and watch General Hospital every day just about because I'm retired, or I tape it if I'm not volunteering. So whatever, I think it's been blown out of proportion by the media, but I'm glad they're feuding because they're both hypocrites. It's too bad that both these teams can't lose. I mean, they both take money under the table. Everybody knows about them money shakes in the SEC West. I mean, that's common knowledge. So both of them need to shut up and play football because I'm tired of it. And about
Dixie.
About the Mississippi State game, they've got special teams issues because I was on the 50-yard line at the Liberty Bowl, and they can't handle punts. Now, that punter from Texas Tech was an amazing punter, and Texas Tech put a beat down on them. That being said, Will Rogers, I think, should be higher up on the Heisman list. He is a damn good quarterback, but I don't care how good you are. I'm like from Missouri. You're going to have to show me something. Because they keep telling me that their special teams is straightened out and they're going to beat us by 20, and not so fast, my friend, because y'all ain't beat nobody yet just because y'all beat A&M. A&M so overrated, it's ridiculous.
It came in some guns hot this
I kind of like Dixie.
Thanks, Dixie. Appreciate
good call. Call back again.
You're always welcome on this program, Dixie.
You know why you hadn't heard much about Saban and Jimbo? Because Alabama's going to boat race them Saturday, and everybody knows it. I mean, that's the reason. When you're not as good as people thought you were going to be, you don't say much, and Jimbo's not saying much. I can tell you from being around the Alabama people this past Saturday, they I won't say they were looking ahead past Arkansas because I think they're a workmanlike machine and they take care of their business on Saturday, but they are really looking forward to having Texas A&M and Tuscaloosa on Saturday. Nick Saban, I think, in the grand scheme of things, is a pretty classy guy. He, generally speaking, does not run it up against his old coaches or against his friends in the coaching profession. But if they can hang 100 on A&M Saturday, they will. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be able to do that. A lot of that's contingent upon Bryce Young. But if they can, they will.
One of the things I noticed at SEC Media Days, guys, is every single one of the players touched on A&M, some unprovoked. Battle and Anderson touched on A&M, not being asked about A&M, but they were willing to bring it up. And you were talking about that workman-like approach. That's not typical of a Nick Saban team to look ahead to a certain opponent or that. These guys have been itching all summer to beat the Aggies this year.
Well, I think they remember very well what happened last year. Now, sometimes guys perform for the camera on Media Day in July, but I do think that for them, this is a game that they wanted to play. But give them credit. A&M was gnawing at the bit to play Alabama last year, and, they were so excited about it, they lost to Mississippi State at home last year. So I give Alabama credit because I know that here and there are games that they really get up for. But they sure do find a way to play well, even on the Saturdays when it may not be the biggest game for them.
Yeah, and this was supposed to be the game of the week, the marquee highlight game.
Yeah.
I think Tennessee LSU is the game of the week. It's not Georgia Auburn. It's not Bama A&M. I think the best game we will see will be in that same window Arkansas is playing in. And that's Tennessee LSU.
That'll be a competitive game. I watched LSU and Auburn play, and LSU's not great. I mean, Auburn's bad. LSU's not great. I think Tennessee, and I admit I had my doubts about them, and still in the back of my mind, I keep waiting for it to fall apart. But I think Tennessee's been, maybe I hate to use the term surprise, but maybe they surprised me more than anybody else. How about that?
Maybe overlooked.
Yeah, maybe so. Well,
on the subject,
Heupel's done a good job. There.
Hooker's the straw that stirs the drink with that offense, and they've looked really good. Speaking of Tennessee, Chuck, how about the official release from the Southeastern Conference that as of April 14th through 16th, Tony Vitello and the Volunteers are coming to Fayetteville in baseball. That was a mistake initially the SEC made with the schedule, but I know Arkansas fans and Tennessee fans are jacked up for the middle of April.
Oh, that'll be a great series. It's not really, because Tony was here, people are going to focus on that because, Tony says what's on his mind. I think people are going to focus on that, but, you're going to have two great teams playing. Vitello's done a great job at Tennessee. That was a program that was, they'd fallen so far off the map. They were terrible. And he went in there and, turned them around in a short amount of time. And so that'll be a great series. Not just because of Dave and Tony. That'll be a great series.
You talk about the interactions between Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban, their disdain. Do you think that has been cleared up between Tony and Dave? Or is there still...
I don't think it was ever an issue. I think that was, I always kind of pull back when people say something was overblown by the media. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes the media is just talking about what people are talking about. But that was overblown. I worked around those guys together for 4 years, and there's professional respect there. I promise you that. And they worked hand in hand when they were here, and Tony signed a lot of good players for us. And Tony's a heck of a coach. And Dave respects him, and I think Tony reveres Dave. So I don't think there's anything to that. I think fans will play it up, but in the dugouts, there's nothing to that.
It was a very public, heat-of-the-moment exchange is all.
Just two competitors. Guys, let me tell you something. If you're any good at your job and the guy next to you's good at his, you're going to argue every once in a while, and sometimes other people are going to see it. But that doesn't mean that you're enemies.
Tell me if this is a good comparison. Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin and Dave and Tony. He's got the frat boyish way of doing things versus the old-fashioned way.
I think Dave and Tony's relationship at Arkansas was a lot different than what Nick Saban's and Lane Kiffin's was. Tony's a pro and Dave's a pro, and those guys are too. But I just think a lot of that's overblown. Yeah, I think some of it was Saban and Kiffin's real.
I think Saban. You hear Kiffin talk about the ass chewings and all the things that go on. I think it's just the way Saban runs his business. I don't think Dave, while he can be intimidating at times and he can be very direct and matter of fact, he doesn't. I don't think run his shop, at least from the outside looking in, as it appears Saban runs his shop. I think it's a different management style. Would that be a good way to sum it up?
Those players might tell you DVH is a tyrant out there on the practice field. I don't know, but you're right. Their personalities and the way they deal with people are a lot different.
Yeah. Hey, APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group have immediate openings, job openings right now in Northwest Arkansas, also in Boone, Marion, and Baxter counties as well. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, an electrician, a diesel mechanic, you got paving or concrete labor experience, or you've got experience in a quarry working there, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits that include insurance, retirement, and profit sharing as well. Apply today. Great company, great jobs available now. Jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group are equal opportunity employers.
Hour 2 coming up. If you have a beef this morning, get them in 877-377-6963.
At Clay Maxey Auto Group, making the relationship has been what we've always been about. Can't control the market, but we can control who we are and how we act every day. And we're just going to be really good at being us. It's always been more than just selling cars or servicing them. It's a people business. We're here to take care of the customer. To me, it's important that it's about the relationship, not the transaction. Come visit us today at Clay Maxey Auto Group.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Looking for a better rate of return on your savings? Arvest Bank is ready to help with great rates on certificates of deposit. For a very limited time, you can earn 2.27% APY on a 7-month CD or 2.52% APY on a 14-month CD with a minimum deposit of $10,000. Seriously, what are you waiting for? Hurry into Arvest before this deal is gone. Annual percentage yield available for a limited time only. Other rates and terms are available. Member FDIC.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Jaeger's Ace is your place for hot savings on DeWalt 20-volt brushless bare tools for fall cleanup. DeWalt blower only $129 with your Ace Rewards card. Or choose a 10-inch pole saw, only $149 with your Ace Rewards card. Need something bigger? Get the DeWalt 12-inch chainsaw for only $169 with your Ace Rewards card. Hurry into Jaeger's Hardware. This offer ends October 31st.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
If you're particular about your lawn, when nothing else matters except those perfectly cut stripes, that is your defining moment when you know you want a Skag zero-turn mower. Simply the best, hands down. When no other mower will cut it, stop by Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma and pick out your new Skag zero-turn mower and be the envy of your neighborhood. Come by today to see the full lineup of Skag zero-turn mowers at Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma.
What do you get when you pull into Tony's Tire Service? You get the best selection of tires for any car, truck, or commercial vehicle. Tony's Tire Service has Cooper tires and is ready to serve you to get you back on the road safely. They'll also get your vehicle fixed with brake replacements plus an alignment with the best repair guy in the area. Tony's Tire Service has been serving the River Valley for over 34 years. Come let our guys replace your tires with Cooper tires and our service department to make sure the vehicle has the best brakes and alignments. Tony's Tire Service, 7200 South 28th Street in Fort Smith. Service you can depend on.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
Late breaking news! Central Hydraulics has teamed up with Wacker Neuson to meet your ever-growing equipment needs. Wacker Neuson offers loaders, excavators, skid steers, telehandlers, and more. Central Hydraulics is also your Gates Hydraulic Hose Center. Stop by today at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith. Central Hydraulics, helping you move the world.
Bring in the cavalry, the artillery, and the infantry. It's the 3rd annual Fort Smith Fall Festival, October 8th, downtown Fort Smith. Food trucks, a car show, reenactments, and children's area. All this downtown at the National Historic Site, Miss Laura's, the Museum of History, the Farmers Market, and more. Come be a part of our history with Old West Shootouts, arts and crafts at the Clayton House, and the Regional Art Museum. It's the 3rd annual Fort Smith Fall Festival, October 8th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more details, check out the Fort Smith National Historic Site or Fort Smith Fall Festival on Facebook.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Our weather for today calls for sunshine. Our afternoon high in the low to mid 80s with high pressure settling in for a while. Mid 50s and clear for the overnight hours. Warming up a little bit on Thursday, mid to upper 80s, and we stay sunny, fair for Friday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
KERX Paris Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
Ketron, we don't know much about Cade Fortin, and the fans don't really know much about him. So I was wondering if you could maybe give us some insight on what he's like, in the huddle and catching passes from him and stuff.
He's very confident, and I'm very confident in him, and we'll be on the same page. We got our timing in the offseason, so I feel great about the timing part of that. But I feel like he's a great quarterback. He's very calm in the pocket, and he's going to be great for us Saturday.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studio.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatOne.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir. Ralph messages in on YouTube, is KJ Jefferson playing on Saturday? Ralph, we haven't been given a yes or no answer on that. My guess would be until about 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, we're not going to know 100% one way or another who's going to be your starting quarterback. No, we'll have to wait and see. We might get an update prior to that point. But I would hold your breath until that point, Tommy.
That is exactly what everyone is talking about this week, and that's what we're diving into here on a Wednesday morning, a What's Your Beef Wednesday on the Morning Rush. That's brought to you by Riley Farm Dental at 5901 Riley Park Drive, right at the entrance to Riley Farms in South Fort Smith. If you're between Fort Smith and Greenwood or South Fort Smith, easy, convenient location. Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan, they take care of their patients and give you a comfortable experience every time. That's one of the reasons they do everything there. Braces, implants, cosmetics. No need to make appointments with 2 or 3 different dental offices to get everything you and your family need done. They do it right there. One of the reasons they've been voted best of the best every year since 2017. See more at RileyFarmDental.com. That's RileyFarmDental.com, or call 226-3500 and set your appointment.
Chuck, I know you were talking to DJ about their win in 2010. Well, Bumper Pool actually touched on their first SEC win last night.
There's not many moments in life that you have that are that special, especially for how hard we had worked leading up to that point. So being able to get the win, have those 20 tackles, just a great moment for myself, but not only for myself, but for the entire team, and kind of getting that turn the jukebox on thing. And so just very special. And we're having that in the back of our mind, get that swagger back this week, get back in there.
Guys, this whole thing got kicked off in Starkville in 2020, and they'd love to get another victory going back there in a couple days.
It was a great win in 2020. I mean, Arkansas was 0-0 forever in the SEC, it seemed like. And, Mississippi State was ranked. They were 16th in the country. And if you remember the conversation, as I alluded to earlier, that year, 2 years ago, everybody expected Arkansas to just get boat raced down there. I mean, Mississippi State was ranked 16th. Costello was throwing the ball all over the place. And, a lot of people thought it was going to be a tough night, and Arkansas played well. That game told me, and I think a lot of people, that we've got the right guy. We've got the right guy. I mean, we won a good old-fashioned slobber knocker football game down there that night. It wasn't real pretty, in terms of sometimes the quality of play, but it was a great win. And that for me is, and I know in the grand scheme of things that is not a significant victory, but for me that's one of the ones I'll remember because, again, I think we knew that night we had the right guy.
And, you've talked about the noteworthiness of just winning in Starkville and how it sometimes gets glossed over, but and I'm not saying the season's over if you lose 3 in a row because we saw it a year ago, but let's not overlook the fact that that's staring us right in the face. You're trying to avoid a 3-game skid here, and a win in Starkville would stop the bleeding there.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to stop this. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And this is as good a place as any, that's for sure. That's going to happen in this league, though. Unless you're one of the top, 1 or 2 teams in this league, you may lose back-to-back weekends. You certainly don't want to lose 3. But, we all have short memories. At the end of the Alabama game, I don't think the good feeling we had after the Cincinnati or South Carolina game, for some people that was a memory. And my point is, if this team goes on the road for the next 3 weeks and comes back, plays in Fayetteville in November, and, they've done well during this stretch, people will, they'll put Alabama and Texas A&M behind them. We felt the same way last year about the Auburn loss that we do this year about the Texas A&M loss. But I don't remember anybody in Tampa talking about it after the bowl win. And we turned the page pretty quickly.
You have to. I think in football, coach and the players, as soon as the A&M game ended, they were talking about already getting on to Alabama. And when you have a loss like that, as painful as it was for fans and every player and teams in that locker room, you've got to move on. Now, for this game on Saturday that you played at 11 o'clock, you do have the luxury of it being early, which I know as a visiting team you always enjoy. What are we expecting from the secondary? We mentioned Hudson Clark playing a little bit of safety, at least from the practice the media saw, and Bakke, a wide receiver, playing a little bit of cornerback. I mean, what can they do to contain Rodgers on Saturday?
Well, I don't think there's a magic wand that I don't think there's a magic wand you wave. I mean, you're asking what's the secondary going to be like. I mean, you hope they're a little bit better than they've been, and it's it's a work in progress. When you lose the guys they've lost back there, I mean, you don't just plug somebody else in and a week down the road be great. I mean, it's a work in progress, and they may not be great at any point this year. The first order of business is to, in my mind anyway, is to make sure you tackle the catch. And make sure that at the end of the day, those yaks aren't just overwhelming. I think that's one of the real keys to slowing them down. And the idea you're just going to go in there and shut them down, stop them, I don't think you're going to do that.
Yeah, and we don't know what KJ's status is going to be for Saturday, but I can tell you this: Mississippi State's averaging 37 points a ball game, and Arkansas is going to have to help the defense by scoring some points, and that's pretty obvious. And it comes at a time where you're a little bit uncertain on what you can do on offense. I think, Chuck, you said it best. Your offense can be your defense this week, but I think in order to be victorious on Saturday, you're probably going to have to push somewhere near 40 points is what the numbers say where your offense is going to have to be. You need to score, 5 or 6 touchdowns at least.
Scoring averages can be skewed a little bit, based on one game. But, I mean, I think I think just look at the history. I mean, I think you better plan on going down there and scoring some points.
Can't turn the ball over. And they
can't have a lot of dead possessions. I mean, you're going to get it. You got it 15 times Saturday, which was unusually high. You're going to get it 12 or 13 times in most games. You better be ready to score on more than half of those.
Well, you've obviously got to be ready to score. But I think it's also important that you avoid bad positioning on the field. You got to win the field position battle against good offenses. You've got to make them go 60, 70, 80 yards every time they get the ball. You can't give it to them in plus territory. They did a good job of that against A&M, not so good against Alabama.
Are we going to see Reed Bauer at any point this year? We've gotten a couple texts on that this morning. Is that some point that is Scott Fowden and Pittman going to make a change? Because Fletcher, sometimes it's like, I see why he's so coveted because he'll boom one. And other times it's the dinker. It's just inconsistency as a freshman, I guess.
Part of it is inconsistency. Whether it's because he's a freshman, I don't know. The thing that I see out there with him is, again, it's kind of like we were talking about. Receivers have 3 reads to make before they actually, run the route. When you punt the ball, you're not just kicking it as far as you can kick it. There's a zone that you are to kick it into. You've heard Coach Pittman talk about this after games. We kicked it into the wrong zone. What I see with Fletcher right now is a guy who's aiming for the zone. And he's not crossed that threshold of, kicking it where you want, but also unleashing and letting your athletic ability take over. I I think that's the issue right now. That's my opinion. I may be 1,000% wrong, but what I see when I see him is a guy trying to kick into his zone, and he's just not at the point yet, either mentally or physically, where he lets his athletic ability take over.
Hey, we're headed behind enemy lines to Starkville this week. Ty will be down there. Our coverage presented by Mock Legal Solutions, a law firm offering reasonably priced legal services, and in most cases, no hourly billing. They'll never charge you for emails, text, or calls as well. It's Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
We're going to get into our Red River Dodge Morning Rush daily question coming up. If you're Auburn and they fire Brian Harsin, you going Deion Sanders or you going Lane Kiffin?
ESPN Arkansas's coverage behind enemy lines in Starkville, Mississippi is presented by Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price. A law firm offering reasonably priced legal services to our hometown community.
Cooler weather is on the way. Is your heating system ready? Let Ashley Air get your home ready with their $69 fall tune-up special. Ashley Air's trained technicians will check your system and make certain it's heating your home efficiently. It's just part of Ashley Air's 100% satisfaction guarantee. On game day, call the Hogs. When your heat needs repaired, call Ashley Air. Get your $69 fall tune-up now. Just go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your tune-up. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
It's time for the Burton Pools and Spas annual hot tub warehouse sale. With over 8,000 spas sold, no one else matches the sales and service that comes with a Burton hot tub. We have hot spring hot tubs in stock and ready to deliver, and they're all on sale. You'll save up to $4,900 off MSRP with payments as low as $80 a month with approved credit. Don't miss the biggest hot tub warehouse sale of the year going on now at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and Fort Smith. Visit burtonpools.com for more information.
Tommy Kraft for the Fitzman. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fenceman. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fenceman. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman. He ain't afraid of no work.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Don't you just hate that? Sitting in a tire store waiting room while your car's being serviced? That's the last place you need to be with work and kids and the 10 million things you need to be doing. Well, don't. Free shuttle service. Pickup and delivery free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. Jody'sAuto.com will make your life easier. Hi, Kim Bircher. 3 locations, 1 in Van Buren and 2 in Fort Smith. One stop. We do everything. So you don't have to go from place to place for tires or service or repairs or maintenance. We are local. 37 years and voted best of the best time and time again. We will pick up and deliver or shuttle you, so you don't have to waste your time. Honesty and customer service is always our number one goal. We will make your life much easier at Jody'sAuto.com, JODYSAuto.com.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
When I'm governor, we will educate kids, not indoctrinate them with the left's agenda. We will empower parents, not bureaucrats. And we will prepare students for the workforce, not government dependency. I believe every kid growing up in this state should have access to a quality education, a good job, and a better life right here in Arkansas.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders will fight back against Biden and the radical left's agenda.
Inflation is a pay cut for every Arkansan, and Biden's policies are only making it worse. As governor, I'll begin phasing out the state income tax to give you a pay raise and unleash bold reforms to make Arkansas one of the best places to start and grow a business, creating thousands of new, high-paying jobs.
Fighting back against the radical left, empowering Arkansans. Sarah Huckabee Sanders for governor. Paid for by Sarah for Governor.
Show your hometown pride with a School Spirit debit card from First Star Bank. Each time you make a purchase with your School Spirit debit card, First Star will make a donation to your school district. You make a purchase, they make a donation. Everyone wins. Support your school with First Star Bank's School Spirit debit card. First Star Bank has donated over $100,000 to local schools through the School Spirit program. Debit cards may be ordered online at firststar.bank.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
It's pretty inevitable that Brian Harsin is on his way out at Auburn, and I know their boosters and their fans are already trying to predetermine who their next head coach is going to be. So that being said, gentlemen, two candidates have kind of stood out as of late for amongst SEC fans. Primetime, Deion Sanders, and Lane Kiffin. We've seen an Auburn coach come from Ole Miss before, Tommy Tuberville. Could it happen again? Which is the better choice for the Auburn faithful that they could have success with their potential next new head coach?
Oh, I think they'd be good with either one of them. If I was Auburn, those would be the two guys that would be at the top of my list. I don't know if they are, but I would imagine that they are. Can you imagine Kiffin and Saban dueling, or whoever Saban's successor is? And I think Auburn's got to think about that too. You know, Saban's not going to be there forever. I know it seems like that, but he's not. They got to play the long game here. I don't know if they're smart enough to do that, but they need to play the long game here. And Kiffin, I think, would he'd definitely stir things up. And I think Deion there would be. Can you imagine Deion and Saban? I mean, can you imagine that?
I was just thinking about that. I mean, they do those Aflac commercials together already.
I know.
That's an interesting thing. Who would make the bigger splash, though? Would it be Deion because he is prime time, or Kiffin, who at least at Tennessee was very loose with the words and was willing to kind of cast boulders into the ocean, or into the pond at least, to make large ripples? Who would make the bigger splash?
Oh, I think they'd both make quite a splash. I think you'd be in terms of the splash factor. I think they'd be about equal there. Deion would be Deion, and Kiffin would dig at Saban, and it'd be a lot of fun. That's the reason I'm pulling for it. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
And I've seen some others write about this. We had a text about this a minute ago. Georgia Tech's got an opening, and how Deion might fit that job very well because of his Atlanta ties. I don't know how far you can take Georgia Tech, but I can see certainly why Deion would be an attractive candidate for a job in the city of Atlanta.
I don't know. I mean, Georgia Tech's got some pretty tough admittance standards. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I can't see him there, but I guess that's possible. I'm more inclined to think that Deion wants to be in the SEC. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And if Lane Kiffin goes to Auburn and I was Ole Miss, I'd hire Deion. So we'll see what happens. Auburn always makes it interesting.
Power 5 openings right now are Wisconsin, Nebraska, Georgia Tech, Colorado. There's one other one, and Arizona State. See him in Arizona State or Colorado? Could he go there? Or is that,
nope.
You think he's going to jump straight from Jackson State to the Southeastern Conference?
I think Colorado's probably the worst job in Division I football, at least among the Power Fives. I just can't imagine a worse job than Colorado. Arizona State now, on the other hand, I think could be a sleeping giant. But I just think Colorado's in terrible shape right now.
Is that asking a lot of an athletics director to put his money on Deion Sanders, who's never coached in the Southeastern Conference?
Sure it is.
You got to have some cojones to do that.
It's a huge risk. There's no doubt about it. But I will say this. I mean, Deion has done a better job than I think a lot of people anticipated at rallying that community, rallying the city of Jackson. He has done a remarkable job beyond just the splash and dash that I think we all expected from him. And I think Deion cares about kids. I think the primetime persona was just that. It was a primetime persona that made him a wealthy man. But I think he's the real deal in terms of being a coach. Now, I don't know if Georgia Tech's the right fit for him, but I think at a place where football is really, really important, I think Deion would flourish.
Is Auburn that much better of a job than Ole Miss?
Yes.
Closer to the Atlanta recruiting grounds, absolutely.
When's the last time Ole Miss won a national championship? When's the last time Auburn won a national championship?
Auburn 2010.
Of course it's a better job. Of course it's a better job.
Yeah, I think Chuck's exactly right, but I just look at where you're located in proximity to the most prime southeastern recruiting grounds. Auburn's much closer to Atlanta, so yeah, I'd absolutely say that. All right, that's your Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by V's Barbershop with 2 locations in Rogers and Bentonville. Visit V's Barbershop online at vbarbershop.com or in person and see why V's is a cut above the rest.
Now, a lot of people make big deals out of social media. Neither you have an Instagram, but one of the things that kind of our age group noticed is as of Saturday night, backup quarterback Malik Hornsby took all of his Arkansas stuff off his Instagram. As of Sunday, mid-morning, afternoon, he put a picture of himself in a Hog uniform on. So I think that begs the question, what happened in that little time gap, 12, 24 hours of when he decided to rip off all the posts to put it back on? Some of you don't care about that. That's fine. That's all well and good. But guys, what do you think happened? Tommy, I'll kick it to you first. What do you think happened with Malik Hornsby and potentially a conversation with Sam Pittman?
Well, I think cooler heads prevailed, number one. I think we all have done, said, lashed out, posted whatever to express our aggravation and our anger in a moment of disappointment. I think clearly Malik was disappointed his number wasn't called when there was an opportunity on Saturday for him to go in and play. But what we do know, and I don't know what the odds are, I don't know if it's 90% chance that KJ's going to play or if it's a 10% chance he's going to play. It's probably somewhere in the middle. I have no idea. But what is certain is there is uncertainty about the quarterback spot on Saturday and who's going to captain this team offensively. Chuck, there's an opportunity for Malik to play, I would think, and I don't know about you, but it seems to me like it's going to take 2 quarterbacks if KJ isn't one of them to go down there and complete the job at Starkville.
I think so. I mean, look, I don't know if KJ is going to play or not, but if he can't play, I would expect both Cade Fortin and Malik Hornsby to play some quarterback. From the outside looking in, it's hard to imagine that, you would go down there on the road and beat Mississippi State with Cade Fortin playing the whole game. I don't know that it's logical to think they'd go down there and beat Mississippi State on the road without Malik Hornsby or with Malik Hornsby playing the whole game. But I don't know that you can look at this game and say if KJ can't play that there's just going to be one quarterback. My thought has been, and I don't know about the social media stuff, but my thought has been that, when you've got a starting quarterback who took a blow to a head or took a blow to his head, people heal differently. As Coach Pittman said, some guys are back in 3 or 4 days. They've had guys last nearly a month being out with them. So if I'm a backup and, a guy gets hurt and I think I might want to play or I might get to play, that might affect the way I view the world. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it makes sense.
The conspiracy theorist in me, the guy that's always skeptical inside me, always believes there was probably a sit-down conversation and the coaches, in their minds, straightened out Malik on his playing time. That would be, what I would think. That may not be what happened at all. It may have just been Malik calmed down about the situation. But it kind of makes me wonder if there wasn't a sit-down somewhere early Sunday morning with the head coach or at least the offensive coordinator and say, listen, what are you doing here? It looks divisive that you're separating yourself from the team. You're going to have a chance to play this week, and he kind of perked up a little bit. I may be wrong about that, or I may be dead on. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't, obviously we don't know the nature of what conversation they had, but I suspect that, Malik understands that, hey, I might get to play quarterback this week. I'm not, who knows? But I do think and look, again, anything we say regarding KJ's availability, I want to emphasize is 100% speculation. But if he can't play, I suspect we'll see both those guys.
Arnett, I would think, if Malik enters the ball game, is 90% sure that he's going to run the football. If you're Malik Hornsby and Kendall Browse, how do you convince that Mississippi State defense that he is a passing threat? Just making
you pass
plays.
The ball.
But
you pass
has
the ball.
he proven in the short time that we've seen Malik Hornsby? I don't think any of us think that he is a polished passer, fair or foul. That we've watched him, and it's been very little, but his strength has been running the football. So
what are you driving at here? I mean, what are you driving at?
What I'm driving at is I think everyone watching on the field knows when Malik is entering the game what's about to happen. There's going to be some sort of running play. So based on what we've seen so far, but Ty, we've not seen him in there for an extended period. Correct.
We've not seen him in there for anything beyond just a play or two. If he's in there playing quarterback for an extended period, it's not going to be a running play every time.
And we also haven't seen him after a week of preparation as the starter.
Well, exactly.
I mean, there's a difference in anyone's game when you're getting all those first-team reps for a week, getting ready to go.
And look, again, we don't know that that's what's happening.
No.
We don't know that he's getting the first-team reps. I'm just saying that if KJ doesn't play, I would expect both of them to be out there.
Are we going to see?
If Coach would invite us to watch the whole practice, then we would know.
That's right.
Are we going to see?
He just call you up.
Yeah.
KJ, go back to 2020 when you're on the road at Missouri. Felipe Franks is going through first-team reps, first-team drills, at least insinuating that he's about to play according as normal. And then KJ walks out there and everyone was shocked.
Well, I remember 2012 when Tyler took a vicious hit in that UL Monroe game, and it was just the same kind of speculation all week long. And he went through the drills, and then he put the ball cap on, and Brandon Allen took the start against Alabama. So just because one warms up in pregame does not mean that's what's going to happen on Saturday necessarily.
No, and as you say, we've seen it with our guys, we've seen it with other teams. I mean, this is not the first time this has happened, and it'll happen again somewhere down the road. And it's just one of those situations where, again, I understand people want a definitive answer now. KJ's not playing, and this guy's starting. This is how it's going to be.
Yeah.
And but you just don't know that on Tuesday or Wednesday.
But I think the interesting thing is kind of where you began the conversation, or at least the thing that fans are talking about, particularly younger fans, because they're more in tune with social media. Is what happened when he took everything down and seemingly for lack of a better term was throwing in the towel, disassociating himself, and then all of a sudden he's back in the fold. What occurred over that 12-hour or 18-hour period or whatever?
2 plus 2 equals 4.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
I think that's the saucy part of it, at least. I don't know if we got anything definitive, but it's fun to talk about.
They had, for example, LSU wide receiver Keyshawn Butte did that after LSU lost to Florida State in that initial game. Didn't have a catch. He's supposed to be their All-SEC All-American guy, and what he was quoted to say is, I just wanted to stay off social media, and people were insinuating, well, this guy's about to leave LSU, he's about to hit the portal. So you just don't know until that said person comes out and says something.
These guys know what they're doing. They know when they scrub their social media accounts, everybody's going to talk about it. That's the way young people announce how mad they are in this day and age. I'm going to scrub you. I'm going to block you. I'm going to take everything about you away from my site. I mean, that's how young people deal with things now. And so I wouldn't put any stock in any of that, frankly.
Well, and to that point, Chuck, they're taught once they enter, and this isn't just an Arkansas thing, once they enter the program to, again, keep that stuff in-house, right? They're not going to public. And Malik Hornsby, there was 100% one thing I knew this week. Malik Hornsby was not going to be open to the media session last night. They were not going to put him in that situation. Now, I know he went on KBZ for his paid time yesterday morning, but there wasn't really anything they got out of that conversation. That's something that they were not going to allow this week, is more conversation about that.
Well, no, and you wouldn't expect that to happen. The one thing that I do want to say again is that everybody involved in this program's been through this before, right down to the people who disseminate the information. Everybody's been involved in this before, and this is this is, I'm not saying it's par for the course. I don't want to make it sound routine when a guy gets, takes a blow to the head, because it's not, but they know what they're doing. That's what I'm saying.
Big Mike from Waldron says it best. He says, people get mad and throw a fit. As old as I am, I still do it. Well, I mean, we all have, social media is the currency of throwing a fit when you're, 17, 18, 20, 21 years old. I mean, I might whirly bird a 5-iron down a fairway every now and then. So, everybody has their way of getting their frustrations.
I just think that's a generational thing there. Yeah. Guys, one thing I do know is that if you want to get a discussion about Dion or Lane Kiffin or KJ, you go to the barbershop, and that's where you're going to find out what's going on. And I want to talk to you about V's Barbershop. This is a full-service barbershop, and that means they do much more than just cut your hair. It's almost a nostalgic experience, frankly, when you go in there. They've set a new standard for barbershops. And, I mean, there's a lot of services here beyond just the traditional haircut. Edge up, shampoo, facial and massage, straight razor shave, mustache trim, deluxe beard trim, standard beard trim. They'll shave your neck, Ty. They'll do all that, and they'll even shine your shoes. So that's a great deal, and it really is kind of a trip back in time. And they've got 2 locations in Northwest Arkansas. They're in Bentonville on Southwest 14th Street, just right off 71 Business, and they're in the Pleasant Crossings Shopping Center in Rogers on Pleasant Crossing Boulevard. I'll get it out there in a minute. That's V's Barbershop, guys.
I was in the Pleasant Crossings location about 10 days ago, got a haircut. And when they go to that machine that has the warm lather, the warm shaving cream, and they get the back,
yeah.
That's when you're in the right spot, is when they break out the warm shaving cream.
And when that happens, we all went to the barbershop when we were kids. I mean, everybody except Ty. And, that was part of the deal. That's what made it cool. It's what made it fun.
Remember when they had the leather strap to sharpen the straight edge razor? Well, you didn't want that leather strap used for anything else, though.
That's right. Sure. Barber tell you, shape up and fly right.
Yeah, exactly.
Shape up. Jeez. Dixie was asking this question in hour number 1 about the Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher feud. And Paul Feinbaum was on Keyshawn, J-Will, and Max yesterday, and he was having a little fun at Jimbo Fisher's expense.
And the buyout, should he be fired, is $90 million. So essentially, Jimbo Fisher is, not essentially, he is his own boss. He doesn't report to anybody. He does whatever he wants. So if they should fire him, that's a $90 million payday.
Chuck, we were talking about Brian Harson's future earlier, where Auburn could potentially go. Could you see a scenario where Texas A&M lets go of Jimbo Fisher after this year if things just go in the tank without Anaya Smith the rest of the way? Johnson.
Oh, absolutely.
Johnson got injured last week, didn't he? So we don't even know if he's going to play this weekend.
They'd fire him in a heartbeat. Sure they would. I mean, they'll come up with the money.
$90 million.
They'll come up with the money. I mean, look, if they got the money to spend on him, they've got the money to fire him too. This idea that money out there now is, that's going to keep someone from getting fired, the buyout, that ain't going to happen. Yeah, I mean, if Jimbo Fisher, they'd fire him in a heartbeat at the end of this year. But I do think, frankly, some of this is kind of silly when you hear all this talk about Jimbo and laughing at Jimbo, making fun of Jimbo. Jimbo's going to get $90 million if they fire him. Y'all can fire me right now and give me half of that, or give me a tenth of that, and Jimbo's laughing all the way to the bank.
Which door you want me to go out?
Yeah. Well,
Ed Ogeron, touchdown
that's
club.
Exactly.
That was one of the best answers to a question I think I've ever heard
you
of.
Want me to leave,
now, I doubt if he actually said that in the moment, but it makes for a good line in a speech.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's just the dream world. any of us get fired, we're out the door, and you'll be lucky to get the rest of the week, in a lot of cases.
Well,
So,
Chuck,
it's just a world we can't fathom.
That's what, Chuck, that's what you envisioned when you first stepped into sports radio, is these fat buyouts, right, that you were expecting to sign on the dotted line. And
I've been bought out before, Ty. Don't kid yourself. I've been paid to leave.
Oh, man. All right, let's go back to the phones. Welcome in Brad, who's here in Fayetteville. Brad, you've got a thought on Malik Hornsby this morning.
My thing is, what is this infatuation with Malik Hornsby? I mean, he played against University of Pine Bluff and did nothing. I mean, what has he shown anybody?
See, I think that's a good question, and I'm not. I'm certainly not minimizing Malik at all, but I mean, the fascination with Malik is because there's always the fascination with a backup. The guy that's not playing is always the answer, particularly if he's fast. And I think that people remember what he did in the bowl game, and but I also think that Arkansas was a whole lot better than Penn State that day, and I think that's part of it. First off, Malik's a good kid. He's a good kid. He's a good player, great athlete. I mean, and he's got the wow factor, and people notice that. But, again, I'll say what I've always said, that there's not a single coach out there that's trying to lose. And he's going to put the guy out there that he thinks gives him the best chance to win.
I think the fascination to me, guys, comes from recruiting. And fans see that 4-star flying up the 24/7 boards, recruiting rankings. They talk about the speed. I swear I hear the coaches talk about he's the fastest player on the team at least
He's
once
not
a
the
week.
fastest player on the team.
But I feel like I hear that a lot, or at least he's one of the fastest players on the team. So when you hear that coupled with those recruiting rankings and that not necessarily living up to fans' expectations, that's where I think the rubber meets the road at some point.
Well, Ty, our roster's full of 4-stars that, I won't say full, but our roster's got 4-stars that didn't pan out. Other rosters have 4-stars that didn't pan out. Happens on every team every year. But this is a quarterback, so
that's
people pay more attention to it.
See, I think a lot of this was fueled by the preseason conversations of him at wide receiver, and it was the optimistic, hopeful conversations that it would work out coming from coaches and a lot of other places, and it just hasn't panned out. I think that's what fuels some of this.
I think that that we're all guilty of this. We think passing games involve, hey, go down 10 yards and cut out, and I'll look for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like working in the it's not like playing in the yard. I mean, these guys have 2, 3. They've got a receiver. When they break the huddle, they got one read. When they get to the line of scrimmage, they got another one, and then they got another one after the ball snapped. So the idea that just because you're fast, you're going to be a receiver. I mean, if that was the case, every fast guy'd play receiver. It's there's a lot more to it than just running downfield and KJ throwing you the football. And my guess would be that he has not mastered all of that. You can look at a lot of sports and you say, man, I bet that guy would be good in this spot. And then you put him there, he's not good in that spot. It doesn't mean he's not a good player. It just means he's not good in that spot.
He hadn't learned every limb of the route tree yet. So.
Well, maybe not. I mean, maybe not. And I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking him at all. I do think there's way too much fascination, frankly, with Malik. And I think that leads to some things like what we saw on social media Saturday night.
So what you're saying is a lifelong quarterback didn't pick up and learn how to play wide receiver at an SEC level in 2 weeks.
Look, I would make the case that, Matt Jones is as good an athlete as we've ever had at the University of Arkansas. And Matt was a good enough player and became a good enough receiver that, he was able to get to the NFL. But that's very, very rare. Mm-hmm. And even Matt, if we're all being honest, there were times early when he lined up wide where he looked like a fish out of water. Yeah. Doesn't mean he didn't become comfortable in that spot, but it didn't happen overnight. It took a long time.
Hey, before we go for just a minute, I want to tell you about our friends at Gaston's White River Resort, the place to kick back, unwind, relax in our state. I can't think of a better spot than on the White River. There's something about running water and the flow of a river or being near a lake that just, I think, relaxes most of us. And Gaston's has that. Out every cabin is a great view of the river. There's 80 private cabins and lodges on property, so you're never staying, above or below someone else's room like you are in a hotel setting. Not at Gaston's. Everything's set up individual. 870-431-5202. Unwind and relax at Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time every time.
ESPN Arkansas's coverage behind enemy lines in Starkville, Mississippi is presented by Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price. A law firm offering reasonably priced legal.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. Bet online, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and when they don't, reach out to the Tulsa Wound Center. They provide chronic wound care using all the latest technologies such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, shockwave therapy, skin substitutes, and more. When it comes to life and limb, experience matters. Make sure you are being seen and treated by an experienced and certified wound physician. Founder and medical director Dr. Lam Lee has been a prominent wound care and hyperbaric physician for over 15 years. 10,000 patients can't be wrong. Online at TulsaWoundCenter.com or call 918-561-6661.
Searching for the best UTV on the market but can't find it with any of the big name brands? That's where the Intimidator comes in. An American brand using American-made steel and built in Arkansas. Intimidator UTVs offer premium components as standard, unlike those other companies. Items such as doors, skid plates, heavy-duty frames, and comfortable seating, all at one comparable price. See why Intimidator UTVs are the best choice by visiting your local dealer, Horns Outdoor in Hot Springs, or visit hornsoutdoor.net.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all. No House Advantage is changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. Play in pick'em contests versus other people for a shot at winning $150,000 plus in cash. Download the app, choose a contest, select your player props, earn points for the correct picks, and climb the leaderboard for your shot to win big money every day. You can also test your skills versus the house and 20 times your entry if you hit all your picks. Bet on up to 5 player props, over-unders, or individual player matchups across every major sports league, including the NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, MMA, and NASCAR. Sign up now with your promo code HTL. That's promo code HTL at nohouseadvantage.com, or download the app on the app stores to get a first deposit match of up to $25. Make sure to check out No House Advantage today and experience daily fantasy sports redefined, because it's not just how you play, but where you play. You won't want to miss out on this. nohouseadvantage.com, promo code HTL.
Luxury limousines.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Oh, yes, sir. Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Mentioned this in hour number 1. Tennessee coming to Fayetteville in baseball, April the 14th through the 16th. Tommy, you were in text last night about ticket requests, and it's October.
I can honestly say I don't have any tickets because it would be months before the tickets come out. But yeah, this is a game that's already exciting people. People are marking their calendars. Chuck, this could be the hardest ticket in a long time, A, because of the number that are available, but B, all the season tickets are already sold out. So getting your hands on one, you have to know somebody to get some of these.
Well, I think the thing you hope is that when you get to that point that the team match the hype. You know, that it's not Dave against Tony, which I don't really think it is anyway, but it'd be nice if, when you get to that point in the season, both teams are ranked. Let's have 1 and 2. That'd be fun.
Now, the good thing is there's 3 games, so in theory, 33,000 people can go to the series, in theory. So, hopefully a lot of people will get a chance to go see at least one of the 3.
Oh, I'll bet if the weather's good, the teams are good, I bet they've got 35,000 for the weekend, maybe more.
You're probably right.
It'd be a fun weekend. Now, you're corking something up where we have a soiree with Chuck out in the hog pen, right? Chuck's giving away free.
That's just
free
the first
beer
I've
out
heard
there.
of it, actually.
Okay, we'll got more details. We'll tell you about in April.
I think maybe Chuck's going to bring his cooker out there and do ribs for everybody in the hog pen that weekend.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll write that down as a definite maybe.
I'll give you a definite maybe on that, fellas.
One of my favorite videos of Sam Pittman is when I think this is his first year after getting hired, and this was in March or April. He's walking around the hog pen, and he's like, there's a hot dog. You think we can get a hot dog? That's just one of my favorite videos of Coach Pittman. Pro Day for Arkansas basketball is today. There's going to be a lot of scouts at Razorback games this year for a lot of different players, particularly Nick Smith. There's others that they will be keeping an eye on as well, but October the 5th, today, is Arkansas's Pro Day for basketball. There will be several NBA franchises in attendance to watch and see some of these young freshmen and other guys on Arkansas's roster this year.
Now, usually,
we got a red-white game a week from Sunday.
Yeah.
I know.
That's at Barnhill, right? They're going to play.
Yeah, they're going to play at Barnhill.
Yeah, so I think that will be full, Chuck. I think there's a lot of people that want to see this team. I think it'll be, all the way to the rafters again, like in the old days.
I think it'll be great. I think it's really a great idea to play that in Barnhill. I think that was a really, really smart move, and I think people will enjoy it, and I think a lot of people will be there.
One of my favorite memories as a kid, I never got to watch a game inside of Barnhill Arena because of my age, but it was really cool to play at the Arkansas basketball camp and play inside of Barnhill Arena because they had it at both Bud Walton and Barnhill, and that was just a cool experience as a young kid.
You know, as nostalgic as that would be, you could make the case this one year, though, to play it in Bud Walton because with the season tickets sold out again, this might be the only chance for a lot of people to come and see the basketball team in person. So you could make the argument that it should be in the bigger building where there's more availability for fans that won't get to see them in the regular season, perhaps.
Well, they've still got 9,200 seats there in Barnhill. Yeah. I mean, there's I think it's good that they do it there. I don't think that I mean, you know, I don't recall 10, 12,000 at red-white games. There were a lot of people there, but I think it's a suitable venue. I think it's great, and I've said this before. I mean, for several years, for a few years, I had an office in Barnhill, and you know, just walking across the floor to go to somebody else's office was like a trip back in time for me. Yeah. I mean, I can point to you on that floor where lots of guys made big shots to win big games and where I was sitting when it happened. And I think a lot of people, when they walk into Barnhill, particularly those who went to games there, they start pointing to the floor. Well, this is where Scott Hastings hit that shot. You know, this is where I sat when they snapped Houston's 39-game winning streak. Mm-hmm. I think for a lot of people, they go into that building, and that's the allure.
Yeah, you think about Eddie Sutton, you think about Sidney Moncrief, you think
Darryl
about the
Walker
original
and Abe
Triplets,
Lemons on the baseline, man. Abe Lemons taking a swing at Darryl
Yeah.
Walker. I mean, that's what I think about when I think about Barnhill.
For someone that's in his mid-40s, unfortunately, the first thought's that Arkansas UNLV game that didn't turn out the way you wanted, but what as big an event that's ever happened in our state from a sporting standpoint. You know, the only other thing that maybe would compare would be the 69 shootout.
The toughest ticket in my lifetime has been, I was 6 years old in the big shootout, so I don't remember much about that. I'm sure tickets were hard to come by. But without question, in my lifetime of what I remember, the UNLV game was the toughest ticket in Razorback history. Mm-hmm. That was, I just can't forget, you know, going to the top of the hill and looking down at Drake Field and seeing all the private planes. And they weren't, they were in to watch UNLV. I mean, Walter Payton was there. I mean, it was a huge day.
And that was it Super Bowl Sunday or was it on a Sunday?
No, that was not Super Bowl Sunday.
It was an 11 a.m. game, right in the middle of church. I mean, it was, but it
was one of those Sundays you skip church.
Yeah. So
you went to early church.
We actually snuck a TV into church and got caught.
You've told that's a good story that you've told before. You got the Blessings College Invitational going on. Hogs are in second place right now. That's going on the Golf Channel today. I think it's at 9:30 and 11. If I remember that right. 2 notes from practice. Hudson Clark was playing a little safety at the chance the media got to watch yesterday. And you also had Sam Ibaka, who's a wide receiver, playing a little cornerback. So they're, I guess, trying some new things in the back end of the secondary at this point.
Well, right now you just need some players. And you got some good athletes that maybe can, a lot of these guys played both ways in high school, have done it before. So maybe you can just try some things out, move some guys around. So I mean,
you're going to play 5 or 6 guys back there. I mean, you're going to play 5 or 6 guys back there, and it's Coach Pittman said. I mean, what they want to try to do is get the 5 or 6 best ones out there. Some of them are, a corner's a corner, but if you've got a guy who can, cross train a little bit, then the way it's going, you never know where somebody's going to have to play before the season's over.
That's going to do it for your Hog Update. It is brought to you by Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Saw the news of Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen, or I don't know how to say her last name to be honest, that they've hired divorce attorneys according to several sources. Is that going to affect Tom Brady pretty mightily this season? He's married
Albert
again.
Pujols got a divorce right before the season started, and he's done okay. I mean, look, people go to work, unfortunately, people go to work every day when they're involved in divorce and things like that, and I don't think that'll affect him on the field. I may be wrong, but I think being 45 years old or however old he is will affect him more than that divorce.
He's married to the game, Tommy.
Well, I mean, a lot of people are married to their work. A lot of people are more – their identity is more about their work than it is about the rest of their life. And,
well, he's married to a superstar, too.
Yeah.
He's married to a superstar. I mean, that's a little bit of a difference in the rest of us.
Hey, Saturday, 11 a.m. game, that creates a challenge for your home gate. If you're here in Northwest Arkansas, Sassy's is here for you. You can go by either location. They'll have everything ready. You can pick it up Friday, maybe early Saturday, or send someone out for a barbecue run. Get you a big platter, big pan of their ribs, their tender brisket. I'd get one loaded up with those smoked wings. Just gnaw on those all day. So Sassy's is there to get everything you need for your home gate, your watch party, or just go to Sassy's and watch the game on the patio or inside. It's going to be a beautiful day. Sassy's Original Red House on College. Sassy's other locations on Steamboat just off the Weddington exit here in Fayetteville.
All right, hour number 3 coming up. I want to jump back into Chuck's conversation with DJ Williams and how the running game is going to be crucial on Saturday.
It's the most wonderful time.
Whoa, Dad,
of
Christmas
the
is
year.
months away. Why are you singing that?
Oh, no, Matt, it's football season. That is the most wonderful time of the year.
You know, your dad's side is approaching legendary status. Anyway, Hog fans, this is Matt.
And this is Robert, a.k.a. Legendary Dad Guy.
Dad, please stop. Folks, he is right, though. It is time for football.
And, Matt, with all the hype surrounding this year's football team, everyone should be loading up on their hog gear now before it's too late.
And the Stadium Shop on Razorback has all things Razorback.
Yep, whether your needs are for tailgating, game day, man cave decorations, and dorm room stuff. Hey, Matt, you do have your dorm room
Dad,
ready
I graduated 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Keep forgetting.
Folks, come and see us at the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
We're located at 989 South Razorback Road next to Baum-Walker Stadium. And, Matt, I'm going to leave that WWS.
He means our website, which is shoponrazorback.com. That's shoponrazorback.com. Or you can call us at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486. It does not get more Razorback than us. Go Hogs.
No matter which road you take, the Toyota Tundra is the perfect way to navigate it. On your path, you're your own boss and set your own hours.
Look at that sunrise.
You may find yourself in some pretty remote places.
Whoa, that view. It's amazing.
Or in places where pastimes become stories that become legends.
I got one. It's a keeper. Hey, get a picture. No one's gonna believe this.
And each day ends binge-watching stars and dreaming about all the things you'll do the next day.
You know what? I'm catching a bigger fish tomorrow.
Built to follow your path, the Toyota Tundra. Build yours today. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com for your ready-for-anything Toyota Tundra. The aggressively styled rugged Tundra is ready to be loaded up, and you can head off to wherever your path leads. Toyota. Let's go places. See packages and options at Toyota.com for feature availability.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Like beer.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Studies have shown that people who can count to 5 without saying 1 or 3 can also enjoy the new 2-4-5 breakfast deal at Hardee's. Choose from a sausage and egg biscuit, country fried steak, or biscuit and gravy, now for less. That means more made-from-scratch biscuits for me. Bite into the new 2-for-5 breakfast deal only at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Tax not included. Available for limited time at participating Hardee's restaurants. Price of participation may vary.
Spooked by the thought of a custody battle with your ex? Get the chills thinking about high hourly billing from another lawyer? Don't hide in the dark. Call me, Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Divorce and custody can be scary. You need an attorney who can help at a price you can afford. At Mock Legal Solutions, we offer flat fees and payment plans. Call today. The first consultation is always free. 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Bring in the cavalry, the artillery, and the infantry. It's the 3rd annual Fort Smith Fall Festival, October 8th, downtown Fort Smith. Food trucks, a car show, reenactments, and children's area. All this downtown at the National Historic Site, Miss Laura's, the Museum of History, the Farmers Market, and more. Come be a part of our history with Old West shootouts, arts and crafts at the Clayton House, and the Regional Art Museum. It's the 3rd annual Fort Smith Fall Festival, October 8th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more details, check out the Fort Smith National Historic Site or Fort Smith Fall Festival on Facebook.
Every time you choose West Ark Plumbing, you're supporting the community. West Ark is a proud supporter of the Children's Emergency Shelter, which provides shelter and care in a safe and structured home-like environment to children ages 6 to 17. Their mission includes allowing kids in crisis the opportunity to just be kids. So next time you have a leaky faucet, clogged drain, or a water heater on the fritz, please consider calling West Ark Plumbing, 646-5151.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Our weather for today calls for sunshine. Our afternoon high in the low to mid 80s with high pressure settling in for a while. Mid 50s and clear for the overnight hours. Warming up a little bit on Thursday, mid to upper 80s, and we stay sunny, fair for Friday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
You're listening to The Morning Rush live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3 KERX Paris Fort Smith. This hour of The Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
Ketron, we don't know much about Cade Fortin, and the fans don't really know much about him. So I was wondering if you could maybe give us some insight on what he's like, in the huddle and catching passes from him and stuff.
He's very confident in him. I'm very confident in him, and we'll be on the same page. We got our timing in the offseason, so I feel great about the timing part of that. But I feel like he's a great quarterback. He's very calm in the pocket, and he's going to be great for us Saturday.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatOne.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
One of the more underrated wins in 2010 was when you went to Starkville and beat a Mississippi State team that was very emotional heading into that football game. We'll tell you more about that coming up. Chuck had a really good conversation with DJ Williams, who has not only had success as in Razorback uniform, but having a lot of success off the field as well. We'll tell you about that coming up.
Hey, it's time for the Burton Pools and Spa's annual hot tub warehouse sale. These are the biggest savings of the year. It's their biggest sale of the year. Burton's has sold over 8,000 hot tubs. They know what they're doing. They can provide you not just a great deal, but service beyond the sale. Help you test your water. Help make sure, number one, it gets delivered to your home and installed properly. And then help you maintain and take care of your hot spring spa for years to come. Right now, they've got plenty in stock. So if you went by a year or two ago and it was going to be ordered and it was 6 or 8 months to get one, right now they're in stock and up to $4,900 off during the warehouse sale. And payments as low as $80 a month right now. So don't miss the biggest hot tub warehouse sale of the year. It's right now at Burton Pools and Spas. They're in Springdale. They're also in Fort Smith, and you can look online and see all of the hot springs models and see what the options are for you at burtonpools.com.
Chuck, I had forgotten the leading up to that game. I think the guy's name was it Nick Bell?
It was Nick Bell.
Yeah,
that's right.
He passed away with a bout with cancer in 2010 in November, which Arkansas played Mississippi State, and they brought his mom out to the field prior to the game. That was a very emotional night for the Bulldogs before they played Arkansas.
Oh, it was. I mean, it was. I can remember being in the radio booth and looking over at Quinn when that happened, and we just kind of said, man, this is going to be a tough one tonight. And it was. Mississippi State played over their heads, and, DJ had a good, I'd forgotten that this happened after the game. I mean, he went to social media and, really complimented Mississippi State on the way they played, and he talked about how they were a different team that night than the one the Razorbacks had watched on film. And that was not a great Mississippi State team, but, man, they played like their hair was on fire that night. And I can remember, when it was over, it was like, wow. I mean, we were so lucky to get out of here with a W. Mallett was, Mallett threw for over 300 yards on 17 completions. Only had 17 completions, but there were a lot of big plays. And Jarius Wright and Joe Adams and DJ Williams. That was a star-studded group back then. And, those were in-state kids.
Yeah, you bring up DJ. He had one of a great touchdowns. Jarius had the big long one, but Nile Davis actually got things started, and that's really what Arkansas was able to do that night, was control the ground game with the run.
Nile Davis, Dennis Johnson, Ryder Ringo, Broderick Green. I think sometimes people forget that talent's backfield. And we always knew if we could get those guys going, we can control the whole game. What we do offensively, the tempo, defense needs a rest. Okay, let's stay on the field. We need to go deep. Okay, they have to respect the run. Now we can go deep. But we understood it started with the run.
They kind of did the opposite. That team used the pass to set up the run. Tommy, this team uses the run to set up the pass.
Well, that night they used the run to set up the pass. Early in the ball game, they ran the ball like crazy and then ended up throwing off play action as the game went on. Sometimes, and again, it just depends on the opponent. But DJ talked about something there that we've talked about in relation to this team in this game, about how you get that running game going, you control the tempo of the game. He said, we help the defense. I mean, I think those were his exact words a minute ago, and that's what I was talking about earlier. All this stuff goes hand in hand. I mean, sometimes your best defense is a good offense. Sometimes it's the other way around. And, that team had the ability to, a lot of times they did throw first, and then they would run to win. But that night in Starkville, they ran the ball, and that set up the pass.
And Arkansas is going to need to control the clock and control tempo in this ball game, which they like to get to the line fast and not let the opponent substitute. Will Rogers has thrown 19 touchdowns already this year. Chuck, you know the numbers, but State's offense, when it comes to passing, is second in this conference with nearly 350 yards a game, 346. Arkansas's pass defense, we don't need to belabor the point, but it's not good at 12th in the league and nearly 300 yards a game. This doesn't seem like a good matchup, at least on paper.
Well, here's the thing, though, guys. I mean, we talk about offenses becoming one-dimensional, Generally, when we talk about that, what we're saying is, man, our team can't throw. I mean, that's basically what we're saying when we talk about, hey, we become one-dimensional. You can be one-dimensional the other way, too. And, I look at the South Carolina ball game in Fayetteville. They threw for over 300 yards. And, they threw for over 3. Well, they rushed for 40.
Yeah.
And who won? And, so my point is that, you can get lost in some of these numbers sometimes. And Mississippi State probably will have a good number of passing yards Saturday. But if they can't run the ball in the red zone, they're not going to score as much.
Yeah, and they've been running it for about 93 yards a game, but when you look at the percentage of the snaps, and this is high for Mike Leach's teams, it's about a third of the time, about 32% of the time they run the football, which is more than normal for a Mike Leach offense.
Well, I don't care how much you like to throw it in this league if you can't run it. If you become, as we were talking about, a one-dimensional pass team, a one-dimensional team on the other side of the coin, you're going to lose just as many ball games. I promise you. You're going to lose just as many ball games as you would if you were one-dimensional on the other side. You can run, but you can't throw. So, Mississippi State's offense, a lot of these passes to the edge, the bubble screens, the things like that, they're just, they're basically running plays. They're just getting the ball to the edge a little bit quicker, and you got to tackle them.
To your point, Dylan Johnson, the leading rusher for State, he has 302 yards on the year. Well, KJ's the number 2 rusher with more than that at 312, and Rocket, of course, leads the way at over 600 yards so far this year at 609. So to your point, their stats match up exactly what you're saying.
Well, and I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but traditionally with his teams, your backs are going to catch a lot of passes. You're going to catch a lot of screen passes. They're going to use that screen game. And we all talk about touches. How many touches does a guy get? If you're a running team, you're talking about how many times does he carry the ball, generally speaking. When you talk about touches in a Mike Leach offense for a running back, that's going to include some pass receptions, too, out of the backfield on short throws.
That's kind of the extended pass that we always talk about with
extended
that team.
handoffs, I call them.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is, and they make you tackle out there.
I think Mississippi State respects Arkansas's passing game, and I know that KJ Jefferson dilemma, if he plays or not, is going to have something to do with that question.
Yes, they do.
What has given them reason to do that? Because really, outside of Missouri State, I don't think that Arkansas has had a.
Well, what's he got? 9 touchdown passes, 1 interception. That's why.
KJ's 9 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah. I mean, you can focus on the missed throws, and I guess if that's what people want to focus on, they can. But let's not act like this guy's chopped liver. And I'll go back to what I've said before about Kendall Briles. As much heat as the offensive coordinator always takes, let's be frank here, fellas. I mean, the last couple of years, they've avoided the plays that KJ can't make with his arm, and they've accentuated the ones that he can. And the ones that he can, that he's been really good on, are the short throws and the deep ball. And I think they've done a very good job, frankly, of disguising his flaws and accentuating the positives that he brings to the table.
So what you're saying here is the offensive coordinator's putting him in his best light to play to his strengths.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Isn't that what a coach is supposed to do?
I mean, look, I understand that the coordinators are always going to be the ones that take the heat. I mean, hey, they're the coordinator. I get it. But, we all tend to focus on the things we don't like. That's just human nature.
And KJ's 80 of 121 on passing. I think that's right at two-thirds. So that's 67%.
Well, and I think that goes to the point that I'm making. Ty's talking about, do you think they respect our passing game? And you're not the only one saying that, Ty. I'm not knocking that statement. I'm saying people are saying, well, they don't respect our passing game. But yet you look at the percentages, and the guy's almost 70%. That tells you they're putting him in positions to make plays. You can't on one hand say, oh, he's not a great passer, but then on the other hand say, wow, what a completion percentage. I think he's going to break the record this year. A lot of that's coaching, fellas.
And you go back and we remember what we saw last. This Alabama game, there were some throws that KJ doesn't like to throw on the run if he doesn't have to. He likes to stand in the middle of that pocket. He's kind of got that unique platform that he throws from that he's really good at. And I think Alabama's pressure forced him to make some throws, and I think he put the ball in some spots he knew it wasn't going to be intercepted. There were some throws that looked off, but I think Alabama's pressure had as much to do that with his than KJ's arm did.
And I don't mean and when you say pressure, I agree with that. But I'm not just talking about pass rushers. I'm talking about like you're talking about. I mean, hey, there's apprehension. We've all watched Alabama get pick sixes till we're blue in the face. We know those guys back there are good, and they do too. And so I'm sure, I've obviously never been back there quarterbacking against Alabama, but I'm sure that you have to be respectful of that as a quarterback. And maybe sometimes you go, over the line a little bit in terms of your respect for them, and you end up being tentative, and you end up making throws that you wouldn't normally make. And that's part of what makes it difficult to beat a team like that.
I think one of the things that also I was thinking about is just either if KJ can't go, how Malik Hornsby and Cade Forden would react on the road. And Ketron Jackson touched on that yesterday.
Just being at practice, both of them have been super confident in the huddle and being confident calling plays. And we've been imitating the loud noise just to get them settled in for the game Saturday.
So the toughest situation Malik's been thrust into is in Arlington last year. Cade's played in a few ACC games, and then South Florida's in the AAC or whatever. So they've never played in an atmosphere like they would play on Saturday, correct?
Well,
fair or
there's
foul?
Very few atmospheres like any SEC venues outside. I mean, there's a handful, but The SEC is unique.
How do you simulate that this week? How do you?
Well, you don't. You don't. You do what you can. You bring some noise in. You don't know what's going to happen if the bullets start flying. I mean, the idea that you're going to be able to simulate what it's going to be like on Saturday in an opposing stadium with some noise being piped into your facility, I mean, you do the best you can. You simulate it the best you can. But, you know, the worst thing that's going to happen in practice if you screw up is a coach is going to scream at you. You know, you're not costing them the game. And when you get into an opposing stadium and, you know, you're not familiar with the other guys across the line the way you are. You don't recognize everything the way you do each day in practice when you're going against your own guys. You don't know till you get there. And so to say that you can fully simulate it, you can't. Yeah. You do the best you can and hope when you get there that they're able to handle it.
You know, when you're at the game, you notice Kendall Browse and there's some others signaling on the sideline. Loud noise can't keep the signals and the visual communication. But it's not just about the quarterback and the snap. I mean, the linemen have to be able to operate under that. The wide receivers who are split out wide, we think about the quarterback having the most difficulties with the communication, but it's just as important for the other 10 on the field to be able to hear and know the cadence or work through the silent counts or whatever this offense is going to do to negate that.
Well, first off, we're playing at 11 o'clock in the morning. This isn't going to be Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge on a Saturday night. It's not going to be like that. Not to say it's not going to be a hostile environment. I'm not suggesting that. But I'm saying what Arkansas is going to encounter on the road Saturday, they've encountered worse situations than this. I mean, they played more hostile environments than this.
Yeah. And let's just be honest. They may not be through milking all the cows by 11 a.m.
Well,
it may not be
so.
a full house.
You may be right.
That is true, but what also needs to be factored this, if KJ can't go, this is their first road test of the year.
I understand all that.
Because Arlington.
I understand all that.
Arlington.
But it's not like these guys hadn't played road games before.
But
it's not like these guys have never played in hostile environments before. I think you can make too much of that.
The team has, but if it's Forden or Malik, this would be their first SEC road test that they've ever actually played in when something's on the line. If
they're playing at 11 o'clock in the morning in Starkville, if you were going to pick a place to make your first road start, I think that's where I'd pick. Unless you could go to Vanderbilt and play at 11 in the morning.
Then you may have more of your own there.
Look, I think those are good talking points. Don't get me wrong. Don't misunderstand me. I think those are good talking points. But I think these guys, when the game begins, there's a focus level, guys, that goes off the charts. It goes off the charts. And a lot of the things that we notice in the press box or fans notice in the stands, they don't notice any of that. And it's not going to affect them the way we might think.
Let me just state the obvious. The fastest way to quieten them is you go score and don't let them score early in the game.
That's exactly right.
That's pretty obvious, but you want to quieten the cowbells, go score and don't let them score, and they'll put them things away.
You think about what happened in 2016 when you went down there. I think that final score is 58-42. I think it was Nick Fitzgerald taking on Austin Allen, and they just couldn't get loud because every time Arkansas or Raleigh Williams and company just marched down and score, he never really gave that crowd a chance to get hyped up.
Hey, you was talking earlier about Tom Brady and Giselle, that they've lawyered up. I think
Did
maybe
he hire Kevin?
Well, I think maybe I saw Giselle in Northwest Arkansas at the Kevin Hickey Law Partners. I think maybe that's where she's turned to get deep into Tom's pockets here, because this could be a wild one publicly. But seriously, if you're going through that, it's nothing to really joke about when it's you involved, because it rips your family apart. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of aggravation. You need an aggressive attorney that understands the process, that's dealt with the angry spouses, supermodel or not, that will bring false accusations, that will just make your life a miserable hell for several months. You want someone that knows, that cares, that understands, and that's Kevin Hickey and Brad Hall at the Kevin Hickey Law Partners. They have an office in Fort Smith. They also have one in Northwest Arkansas, 479-434-2414 in the River Valley. 802-6560 is the number in Northwest Arkansas. They're also coming to Little Rock soon as well. Find them online at kevinhickeylaw.com.
So help a young man here for a sec. Loretta Lynn is no longer with us, died at the age of 90. Between You Ain't Woman Enough and As I Hang Up the Phone, what is the better song?
Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man is the best Loretta Lynn song with Conway Twitty. That's the best one ever.
Coal Miner's Daughter is the one she's most known for.
I
mean,
that's the one she's known for.
That's the one that goes in the obit first line about all of her songs is.
They made a movie about that.
Yeah, I mean
they made a movie about that song. Yeah. Didn't see it.
Her and Conway Twitty's duets though were.
Oh yeah, Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man. I mean that's a classic right there.
Yeah, I mean she.
That's a Saturday night get down song, Ty. You'll probably hear it in
Saturday
Starkville.
night get down song.
You'll probably hear it in Starkville Friday and Saturday night.
We've set our itinerary already for this weekend. I'm really excited. You got me a little fired up for Starkville because I know I've had some people that have doubted the entertainment value of that city, but based on what you've said, it's kind of a little bit underrated as an SEC town.
Well, if you get thrown in jail, don't call me.
Okay.
I'll just put it that way. But hey, you can. You're a young guy, Ty. You can have a good time wherever you are. You make your own party.
That's exactly right. That's how we have to look at life at this age. But so, what do I need to know about Mrs. What else do I need to know about Mrs. Loretta Lynn? Because when you told me at dinner last night, I looked at you with a blank stare.
Well, I mean, when I said Loretta Lynn had passed away at 90, you had no clue who I was talking about, which sadly deeply disappointed me that you wouldn't know who Loretta Lynn even is.
Be a student of pop culture, Ty. I mean, come on.
I would say Loretta Lynn is the one that opened the door for people like Dolly Parton, for people like Tanya Tucker, for people that. For the women of country music, she was the first star. Is that not right, Chuck?
I don't know if she was the first one. I wasn't around for all that, but I know that she's always been the biggest female country star in my lifetime. And I'm not a particular, I'm not a country music aficionado. I couldn't talk history the way I'm sure a lot of people can, but I've always kind of viewed her as, the first lady of country music.
You'd put her in
that's just kind of what I've always thought of her as.
You'd put her on the same shelf with like a Johnny Cash. Someone.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, she's the female equivalent of Johnny Cash, no question.
Does that bring it home for you? That land the plane?
That lands the plane better. I think that makes me understand it a little more.
That's who she would be, and opened a lot of doors for everyone else that followed through that. But when you see George Strait posting about her passing, you know it's a big deal.
Well, she was a star at a time when radio was at its zenith, particularly in the South, where country music is at its most popular. She was a voice for her generation, particularly for a lot of young Southern girls, just to be real honest about it. And she sang about what they were dealing with. And, she was, you can laugh, but she did.
Well, she came through that just like my grandparents, born in the Depression, raised in the Depression.
Absolutely.
Hard to make a living, and they sang about those things.
And they absolutely did. And that's why when she dies at 90, her contemporaries cry. Because that's how much it meant to them during that time.
So she inspired Taylor Swift? Is that what happened? I think Taylor Swift is...
I think you're missing the point, Ty.
Yeah.
I think you're missing the point.
I think you skipped a generation there.
Yeah.
Hey, we were talking about ribs and who cooks the best ribs and all that stuff. We're going to find out in a couple of weeks at the second annual barbecue rib competition at Wheels RV. That's coming up here in a couple of weeks. It'll be the same day as the BYU game. Now, don't worry about missing the game because at Wheels RV, they're going to have the game on a 4K billboard trailer display out there. You won't miss a second of the action. Face painting, bounce houses, axe throwing. It's free to get in. There's free food. It's going to be twice as big as last year. Campers, boats, side-by-sides, RVs, mowers, tractors, trucks. They're going to have a whole bunch of stuff from a lot of their friends in Northwest Arkansas on display. 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Kayaks, canoes, outdoor equipment, and more. The second annual barbecue rib competition at Wheels RV coming up October the 15th at Wheels.
Aaron Judge did something really significant last night. We'll tell you about it next.
ESPN Arkansas's coverage behind enemy lines in Starkville, Mississippi is presented by Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price. A law firm offering reasonably priced legal services to our hometown community.
It's time for the Burton Pools and Spas annual hot tub warehouse sale. With over 8,000 spas sold, no one else matches the sales and service that comes with a Burton hot tub. We have hot spring hot tubs in stock and ready to deliver, and they're all on sale. You'll save up to $4,900 off MSRP with payments as low as $80 a month with approved credit. Don't miss the biggest hot tub warehouse sale of the year going on now at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and Fort Smith. Visit burtonpools.com for more information.
At Clay Maxey Auto Group, making the relationship has been what we've always been about. Can't control the market, but we can control who we are and how we act every day. And we're just going to be really good at being us. It's always been more than just selling the cars or servicing them. It's a people business. We're here to take care of the customer. To me, it's important that it's about the relationship, not the transaction. Come visit us today at Clay Maxey Auto Group.
The new Lotto game from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is creating new traditions for our players, like Colton and Katie from Hot Springs.
We play our anniversary. Yep, 12/15, always.
And then I rub the ticket on his bald head for luck.
Yeah, she does.
Your numbers, your game. Play Lotto every Wednesday and Saturday for your chance to match 6 and get rich. Only $2 per play. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Hey, it works.
Got a few skeletons in your closet? Want to seal your past criminal charges? Need to clear up some current ones? I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Fines and restitution add up. You need an attorney to help you navigate the justice system. But how do you pay for it all? At Mock Legal Solutions, we offer flat fees and payment plans so you can get back on track without selling a kidney. Now that's a monster of a deal. Call today for a free consultation. 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
We will make your life easier. Jody'sAuto.com will pick up your vehicle at your office or home or wherever. Take it to one of our 3 locations in Van Buren and Fort Smith. Perform any service your vehicle will ever need and deliver your vehicle back to you. Hi, Kim Bircher with Jody'sAuto.com. No missing work. No finding a sitter. No sitting in a waiting room. No wasting your precious time that you don't have. Many of our customers tell us, you're saving me money. Pickup and delivery, it's free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. With our 3 oil change specials, you're going to find adding $10 will mean nothing. And we always have free shuttle service. You bring your vehicle to us and we will take you and pick you up in our vehicle. Honesty and customer service is always our #1 goal. We will make your life much easier. Jody'sAuto.com, JODYS Auto.com.
High-Tech Truck Refrigeration Service is all about God, family, and our country, and they proudly display the red, white, and blue. At High-Tech, they specialize in truck and trailer repair, service, and are certified in refrigeration repair. And every day, give thanks to those who have served our country and paid the ultimate sacrifice for folks like you and me. High-Tech Truck Refrigeration Service, located in Van Buren at 6410 Alma Highway or at 479-474-2220.
Celebrate your pastor at the Solid Rock this month. October is Pastor Appreciation Month, and to help you celebrate, the Solid Rock is giving you a $5 gift card to give to your pastor with any purchase of $50 or more. And while you're there, be sure to check out the wonderful assortment of items that would make great pastor appreciation gifts. Celebrate Pastor Appreciation Month at the Solid Rock, the store that honors Christ all year long, off South 74th near Sam's Club.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
I'm Judy McReynolds, CEO of ArcBest. Our commitment to the community runs deep. That's why we partner with United Way of Fort Smith area. For 94 years, United Way has served the community through essential programs in the areas of health, education, financial stability, and crisis. Please donate at UnitedWayFortSmith.org or text UWGIVE to 40403. 100% of your contribution impacts our local community. Together, we can make a difference.
Learn a new trade and get paid top wages with Mid-South Steam Boiler and Engineering. Mid-South is hosting drop-in interviews on Monday, October 10th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Mid-South has immediate openings for code welders, maintenance technicians, industrial pipe insulators, and pipe fitters. Mid-South offers top wages and benefits along with industry-leading quality and service. Enter 3805 Pointer Trail East into Google Maps and join us Monday, October 10th from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. to apply in person. That's 3805 Pointer Trail East, Monday, October 10th from 10 to 2.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
I'm going to tell you the truth about Starkville. Everybody complains about it. Skip Burtman used to say it's an old Indian word for trailer park, and they've taken a lot of heat over the years. They're really nice people.
All right, so Aaron Judge got to 62 last night. And some of you may hate the New York Yankees, but you can't really discount what this guy has done to this point this MLB season. We'll talk about his success coming up in just a bit.
Hey, I want to take a minute to tell you about Arvest Bank. I've had a banking relationship with Arvest for, all of my adult life. In fact, it goes back to where I bank even before it was Arvest. It was Superior Federal. And since 1961, Arvest Bank has been committed to putting the needs of its customers first. They provide a wide range of banking services, everything you need from a loan to deposits to treasury management for your business, credit cards, mortgage loans, and mortgage services. They do all of that. In fact, it started back in 1961 as the Bank of Bentonville. For those in Bentonville and Rogers, you'll remember that, and their commitment to putting the needs of everyone in their communities first has been around for more than 60 years. Find them online at arvest.com and get that wide range of services you need with Arvest Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Here's the 1-1. Swung on. There it goes. Deep left. It is high. It is far. It is gone. Number 62 to set the new American League record.
Past Maris last night. Chuck, again, you don't have to like the Yankees. You don't even have to like Aaron Judge, but it's a pretty significant moment for him last night.
Oh, it was as big a moment as you can have as a baseball player, to have him, break a record like that and be a Yankee and break a Yankees record. I'm sure that's it is a big deal.
Yankees get a lot of national love because of the fan base that they have countrywide, but what is the bigger national story? Is it what's Albert's done this year, or is it what Aaron's done this year?
Well, they're both big stories. They're different stories. One was, one, there was a lot more sentimentality to it than there was the other, and I think that tends to be what people gravitate towards, is the sentiment. And so in our part of the country, I think Albert's chase was probably bigger. In metropolitan areas, I suspect Judge's deal was a little bit bigger, but a lot of that, it's in the eye of the beholder.
Well, so many people that control what goes on TV and what goes on the news are based in the Northeast, and therefore Judge's feet becomes the bigger deal, and they were cutting into football games, and look,
they did the same thing with McGuire and Sosa. And the fact that he's in New York, it's in their own backyard, but no matter who he played for, this would be a huge story. It was a big story when Bonds was doing it. And there was no bigger story in America when the home run chase was going on in '98 between Sosa and McGuire. That led the national newscast. That captured our imagination like nothing else has.
But they weren't cutting into football games in the last 2 weeks for Pujols' at-bats.
I was cutting away.
Yeah,
I was cutting away.
But they weren't cutting into a football game, so you could see a Pujols at bat like they were with Judge.
But if it had been Pujols chasing it, we wouldn't have a problem with it, because that would be someone that would be more regional for us. I know in our part of the world, cutting into college football games is like that's about the worst thing. It's worse than a weather bulletin in the middle of the fourth quarter. You just you just can't have it. But for the majority of ESPN's audience, that was a very, very big deal.
I saw the Rangers fan that caught that ball just over that left field wall, and he raised his hands and celebrated. I don't know what that ball is worth that he caught, but I'm sure.
He's already been offered $2 million. I read that this morning. He's already been offered $2 million for it.
We have the first bid in, so I mean,
yeah,
you get you an outfield seat.
They're just getting started.
Yeah, I mean, you're not between the bases. You're in the outfield, and that became the best seat in the house by a long shot last night.
What about that guy that jumped off the railing hoping to catch the ricochet?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Jeez.
The guy jumped off the railing trying to play the bounce, and he ended up getting kicked out. He didn't get a ball, and he got asked to leave.
If you had something significant in the history of Arkansas sports, and I guess something going out of bounds would be, or out of the park in baseball, I don't know if a football got thrown out by a starting quarterback in an SEC championship, would you keep that or sell it? If it was worth, to an Arkansas fan, if it was worth over $500,000 to some big-time daddy booster that wanted to pay you that type of money, could you sell off that significant home run, basketball, or football? Do you do that?
Yeah.
Would you sell yourself for that?
Yeah.
Or would you keep that for the rest of your life?
And sleep well on my Hawaiian vacation, the next week. Absolutely, I could sell it.
I think each
$500,000?
person would have to. I mean, look, if you're filthy stinking rich already, you might keep it. But, hey, for a lot of people, that's life-changing money. Yeah. So everybody's got to make their own call on that one. I don't blame the guy for keeping it. I understand the sentimentality of people who like to give that stuff back. And we celebrate the ones who do. But, we don't drive by the big new homes of the people that decide to sell it. Yeah. Some people make life-changing money off these things.
Absolutely. I mean, that might be the difference in you retiring 10 years sooner. $500,000. So, I mean, that'd be an easy call for me because, don't have an extra $500,000 laying around.
Ty, get you a mortgage payment, a couple of car payments, a wife, some kids, some college debt.
Get you a kid.
Get back to me.
Yeah, get you a kid in travel ball or travel cheer. Or get you a
Get
kid
back to me on what you do with that ball.
To speak about a wife, my buddy, his wife just bought $300 worth of towels, and he wanted to blow his head off. And I can't. This
300's a low bid.
Unfathomable right now to have to deal with something like that.
Well, you got a long way to go, pal.
Good.
A lot more anguish than that coming up. Hey, I want to tell you about Catfish Friday coming up at Art's Barbecue. Great way to kick off your weekends. They have a catfish special every Friday. If fall of the year, you think about barbecue, you think about catfish, you think about some of the comfort foods as we go into the cooler part of the year. Catfish on a Friday is a great way to go at Arts. They have the all-you-can-eat special on Friday nights as well. That's not for you. There's something on the menu for the whole family. Then on Saturdays, maybe you go out after the game. $1 off all burgers on Saturday. You can get you some of that catfish as well then, or their great ribs or brisket. Arts Barbecue on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
SEC update coming up, including a big-time baseball matchup that's coming to Baum Walker.
ESPN Arkansas's coverage behind enemy lines in Starkville, Mississippi is presented by Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price. A law firm offering reasonably priced legal services to our hometown community.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do some cold water bass fishing, you need to be using a Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. It's the best lure for duplicating a small school of shad and can be worked from the top of the water column to the bottom. Whether you're trying to win a bass tournament or whoop up on a bunch of white bass and stripers, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. will catch them. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hello, this is Sue from the paint store in Van Buren. We are set and ready for all your spring and summer
summer projects. We keep real samples of your Richards paint on file so we can be sure it matches every time. No computer can do that. The Paint Store in Van Buren. Color expertise and 34 years of knowledge outweighs all the competition. No other paint seller can do that. The Paint Store in Van Buren, Fayetteville Road, 474-4505.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Stop by your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 and Rogers in Fort Smith, where it's happy hour all day, every day. Stop by anytime and try our $4 cocktails. Choose from a Bloody Mary, Cape Cod, Tequila Sunrise, Whiskey Sour, and more. There's also $5 glasses of wine, and Miller Lite 12-ounce drafts are always just $2. Get to TGI Fridays for lunch Monday through Friday for our $9.99 burger deal, available until 3 p.m. and comes with fries and a soft drink, tea, or Miller Lite draft. Order online for pickup at Fridays.com.
If you farm, you have enough to worry about without worrying about how much more you're going to owe once your current variable or balloon interest rate increases. Interest rates are on the rise. This is the time to check out Farm Credit's long-term fixed rate options. Farm Credit offers the longest terms in the ag industry. Long-term fixed rates mean there's no surprises and your payments remain the same for the life of your loan. That's peace of mind in this changing interest rate climate. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Set your operation up for success and rest easy. Equal housing lender.
United Hail Pros will fix your hail-damaged car, offering industry-leading paintless dent repair with zero out-of-pocket, a free rental car from Enterprise, and a lifetime warranty. Locally owned and operated. Schedule today at UnitedHailPros.com. Call United Hail Pros today at 479-309-3998. We're on our way.
Trust United Hail Pros.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Lesson 86. This is how you say, gee willikers, it's a hot one. Let's cool down with some Bud Lights. That's it for today. Bud Light, crisp.
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. Studies have shown that people who can count to 5 without saying 1 or 3 can also enjoy the new 2-for-5 breakfast deal at Hardee's. Choose from a sausage and egg biscuit, country fried steak, or biscuit and gravy, now for less. That means more made-from-scratch biscuits for me. Bite into the new 2-for-5 breakfast deal only at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Tax not included. Available for a limited time at participating Hardee's restaurants. Price of participation may vary.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 Fort Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Ashley Air. Keeping your home comfortable is what they do best. Trust them with your heating and cooling needs. Go to AshleyAir.com to request service today.
So you got your updated SEC baseball home and away series, which includes Tennessee. The SEC announced that officially yesterday. Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, had this report weeks ago, but it became official from Birmingham. Your road trips include LSU, Ole Miss, Georgia, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt, which LSU, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt, some of the premier baseball teams that you will play on the road. I think I want to go to Baton Rouge again this year because I think LSU is going to be a lot better than they were 2 years ago.
Keep me on the straight and narrow here, make sure I'm right. This wasn't a reaction to the lack of Arkansas, Tennessee on the schedule. This what I'm assuming is probably embarrassing for the league office, but it happened in football and no one's really paying attention. This mulligan on the baseball schedule had to do with they just missed a rotation on some of the teams, right? And it just happened to be Arkansas, Tennessee should be next up in a home-and-home rotation. This wasn't just a response to the lack of not having these two premier programs play each other.
I don't know.
That's how I read it. So I just want to make sure I understood it right.
I don't have that answer.
I don't think this was meeting the public outcry of the vast public demand, which would have been here in Arkansas mainly for us. These two teams play. I don't think that was necessarily the reason they did it.
Listen, to that point, I got a couple Tennessee buddies, and they were ticked when Arkansas wasn't on the schedule.
Well,
and they were ecstatic.
It's like we were
when they came. So I don't think it's just an Arkansas thing. It's a Tennessee. And baseball is not a college. Let me rephrase. College baseball is not a national sport. It's a regional sport. But if you want to turn it into something bigger than it is now, you find these type of feuds and you pair them up like the SEC has done this regular season, April the 14th through the 16th.
We had this. We had dinner together last night, and I was making this point that baseball's not a sport much like basketball where one game could throw you out of the postseason like it will in football. Best on best should always play. Arkansas, Kentucky should play home and home every year in basketball. Why? Because the sport needs to grow. It needs to expand its horizons. There's no argument college baseball could be a bigger sport on a national scale. Have your premier programs play each other. If Arkansas and if Tennessee sweeps Arkansas or Arkansas sweeps Tennessee, it's not going to keep the other out of postseason play in baseball. Maybe you're a seed different. If you're worthy of hosting, if you're a top 8 seed and going to host throughout, that one series isn't going to be the difference maker in keeping you out. Might be the difference maker and you're a 3 seed versus a 4, or you lost so you're a 5 versus a 3. But in the end, you can grow the sport, the reach, and just more people following what you do as a whole. College baseball needs that. You need your star programs playing your other star programs on TV where it matters.
Yep. More news for you this morning concerning the Southeastern Conference. Dak Prescott, according to Jerry Jones on 104.53 The Fan, is not well enough to play against the Rams just yet. Now, Cooper Rush and that defense, they're giving him time. Rush has thrown for over 700 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's the key stat in all this. Rush has not thrown a pick in the attempts that he's made to this point for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I don't know what's going through Dak's head. I don't know if he's really hyped up for what his team's doing in his absence, or you feel like he's rushed into getting back. The Dallas Cowboys to this point, and they have 2 tough tests ahead, and you said the Rams this week, and Tommy's the Eagles next week.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, and that's the Eagles' is divisional rival. We know the blood that's
perceived to be the best 2 best 2 franchises in the NFC East.
Correct. And Jalen Hurts has been playing out of his mind, the connection with him and A.J. Brown. That's going to be a tough battle. Is that in Lincoln Financial or is that in Jerry World?
That one, I believe, is in Lincoln Financial. I think because they play again Thanksgiving Day. I believe that one's in Dallas because they always play in Dallas on Thanksgiving. So, I heard Jerry this morning, just like you're referencing to. Dak's working on learning to grip the ball, or not learning, but getting his hand dexterity back to gripping the football the way he does in order to play a game. And Jerry's quote was, he's not there yet, but we'll see how the week goes. So, we can all talk about Cooper Rush and should he be the starter, should they stay with a hot hand all we want. You got a $40 million quarterback. That's the bottom line is you're going to play your $40 million quarterback till he proves he's not ready, then you're comfortable putting Cooper Rush back into that's what you need to do. But, this is a business. Jerry didn't invest all that money to watch him chart plays on a clipboard.
Got some Arkansas SEC news. Betsy Wizard. How about that name? She is the SEC Freshman Swimmer of the Week. Ben Scherer is the cross-country SEC Freshman Runner of the Week. Betsy Wizard.
It's a good name.
That's a good name. I think that on campus she might have one of the best names of any student-athlete out there.
Yep.
Last thing in our SEC update, Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban, the feud going on. Barrett Sallee was on WJOX in Birmingham yesterday. He had some pretty outspoken thoughts on this game.
This could be the biggest blowout in this series since Kenny Hill lost 59-0. Wow. I just think with with Texas A&M's offense, I don't care if Max Johnson plays or not. That offense is just flat out horrendous. Alabama can stop Devin Achane. So when that happens, what's Texas A&M going to do? They can't do anything.
59-0? They're not going to play the second half? I mean, that's kind of what I expect the halftime score to be if Saban can make it. Everybody's expecting blowout. So what do we need to learn here, folks? When the whole world's going one way, what do we need to do with our money?
Put it the other way.
Put it on A&M. It seems like the whole world's – now, this might be
so
one of the –
are you going to do that?
Well, I don't bet. But this might be one of the instances, though, where the whole world's right. But I don't know. But, boy, it's every time the whole world thinks this is going to be a blowout, 100-0 football game. I don't know. What
would the line be if Bryce Young didn't have that sprained AC joint and his playing time wasn't in question leading into this Tuscaloosa game? Because it's 24.5.
First of all, I think he's going to play. But secondly, I think the line would probably be nearly, I don't think it'd move maybe 3 points, maybe 27.
Why do you think he's going to play with the sprained AC joint in his throwing shoulder?
Because he's Bryce Young. I'm basing this on what Saban said that, hey, they've had this he made it clear they've had this problem before. They have experience with this injury, and generally it's been better in a few days. So I think with the training staff and all they can do, I think he'll be ready to play. He's much like KJ in the fact that he doesn't have to practice all week. He can watch and learn, take mental reps. If he's ready to go on Saturday, I think he'll play.
Do you even want him to play prior to Tennessee? I mean, I don't know.
Maybe I don't play him the whole game, but
re-aggravate an injury, but didn't
listen. He's a competitor too. He was part of that team that lost that game a year ago too. You think he doesn't want to play? You think he doesn't want to take a pound of flesh and act some revenge? I imagine he wants to play some of this game as well and be a part of what could be a satisfying victory to revenge a loss from a year ago.
And I think that's true. But let me flip that on you and ask you this. Even if KJ has a concussion, do you think he wants to play on Saturday?
Well,
because I would say
they're two different injuries.
And that they are. But athletes most of the time have the same mindset. It's not the case for everyone, but most guys, particularly guys and gals too, they want to play even in some cases they shouldn't. They shouldn't play. If KJ doesn't play on Saturday, it's not because he didn't want to play. I guarantee you he's going to be, if he's told, you know what, KJ, we can't clear, he's going to be ticked because he wants to play in Starkville. He wants to get that win.
It's his home state. I mean, we think about Ole Miss because of his proximity in his hometown. Sardis back to Oxford, but this is his home state just like Oxford playing there is.
And that's what I'm saying. And again, I don't know how cautious Nick Saban is going to be with Bryce, who is his best quarterback, because it's my belief that if Jaden Milroe has to play against Tennessee, that Tennessee's going to win that ball game.
Well, I thought Clay Henry summed it up perfectly yesterday when I heard him on halftime. Milroe's just like Derrick Henry taking the snap back there. I mean, he's just a physical beast back there in size, and I think he can lead them to victory. I mean, I don't think that's the concern, but I think if I'm Bryce Young, I want to be in there. I want to get my pound of flesh.
Well, the other thing I was thinking about, and he'll never say this publicly, how much do you think it means for Bryce to potentially have a back-to-back Heisman? Because if you look at the standings right now after that last game, he has dropped outside of the top 5 of most people. Fair or unfair, because of Milroe stepping up. How much do you think that plays into part of the role?
That's a good question. I can't answer how much, but it's got to be somewhere in the calculus.
His thought process.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there at all. Hey, cooler weather is on the way. Is your heating system ready? Let Ashley Air get your home ready for winter with a $69 fall tune-up. Those colder mornings where you need heat in the morning and air in the afternoon, they're just around the corner. And Ashley Air can make sure your home is ready to go and heat your home on those coldest days. So, hey, on game day, call the Hogs. When your heat needs repaired, call Ashley Air. Get your $69 fall tune-up now. Go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your tune-up. That's AshleyAir.com, proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics. Hey, something pretty cool. One of the cool things in our state, one of the things, I guess, probably cool in the right word to describe it, one of the comforting things in our state is that Arkansas Children's Hospital is here. And when you're a parent and your child has some kind of problem, illness, injury, whatever, knowing that Arkansas Children's is just down the road whether you're in Northwest Arkansas or Central Arkansas, is important. They've got their Miracles and Magic fundraiser coming up, and it's going to be this Friday, October the 2nd, from 6 a.m. to 10:30. It's the 8th annual event. This one helps the Arkansas Children's Hospital in Northwest Arkansas and raise the funds for them. You can go online to archildrens.org/miracles and become a miracle maker by committing a $20 monthly donation to Arkansas Children's Northwest. And they've got some really neat stuff that I think our listeners would be interested in, Ty. When you make that donation and you do that, all miracle makers will have a chance to win 2 tickets to the Arkansas Liberty football game on November 5th. There's also going to be a time in there where the Arkansas men's basketball teams, both players and coaches, are going to be taking the calls and taking the donations, and you'll have a chance to talk to one of the members of the basketball team, either a coach or a player. Last year, they raised during this event $128,000. So all of this goes to keep a great hospital in our own backyard right here. It's the Arkansas Children's Hospital in Northwest. Go to archildrens.org/miracles and make your donation for this Friday from 6 to 10:30. That's 6 a.m. to 10:30 at night. Their 8th annual Miracles to Magic fundraiser this Friday.
I think we've all had someone at one point in time with a connection, whether it's a friend or family member that's had a son or daughter, or grandson or granddaughter that has been forced to go to that hospital, not because of what they're dealing with. So to Tommy's point, this is a good thing that we've got going on right now with this fundraiser.
When your kids are sick or something's wrong with them, that's the worst as a parent. Unfortunately, my oldest, and she's fine now, but we had to go to Children's back in the day. It was just great to know they're there. All right, you're headed behind enemy lines. You leave out tomorrow. All of our coverage in Starkville brought to you by the great folks over at Mock Legal Solutions, a law firm offering reasonably priced legal services, in most cases no hourly billing. Know what you're going to pay and never get charged for emails, texts, and calls. That's Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Good Wednesday show for Chuck, Tommy, Drew, and I'm Ty. Have a great day.
It's time for the Burton Pools and Spas annual hot tub warehouse sale. With over 8,000 spas sold, no one else matches the sales and service that comes with a Burton hot tub. We have hot spring hot tubs in stock and ready to deliver, and they're all on sale. You'll save up to $4,900 off MSRP with payments as low as $80 a month with approved credit. Don't miss the biggest hot tub warehouse sale of the year.